We're about ready to go live, boys.
We are live. We are live. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up this Tuesday night edition of Fish North Georgia. And keep going. Paul was giving me some stuff like this, and I didn't know what we was doing wrong. But anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We got a special episode tonight, one that I can tell you from just talking upstairs already. I've already learned stuff tonight. All right. And the topic is going to be catfishing. And we're not talking about your typical, what everybody thinks about catfishing. What we do around here, everybody goes to a little pond and we do our stuff. We're talking about trophy catfish. All right. We're talking about rivers, big lakes, 40, 50 pound cats, possible stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes. Stuff like that. So we're talking about big boy stuff. So definitely want to tell everybody, Eric Beasley, John Allred, all you guys, good evening. Appreciate you joining in. And I hope you guys will listen to this episode and learn something, because I think you're going to be surprised. I've already been surprised by what I saw upstairs. This is not going to be your typical, what you want to say catfishing episode is. Want to go ahead and get it out of the way. If you are on Facebook tuning in, make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Put your name in there so that we can address you in the comments by your name. And guys, if you're new here, feel free to comment. We are very much into the comments as they come in. We love to address the people as is, and you're going to learn something tonight. So I guarantee you that. But let's get the business out of the way first. As always, this episode is brought to you by State Farm. And the guys at State Farm do a phenomenal job of insuring not only your home and your auto, but also, as I say each and every episode, your personal articles. So when you're on your fishing boat, your rods, your equipment, your sonars, all that stuff can be insured. And the Cassidy Agency, and especially Chase Epley, have come up with this policy for $75 for up to $7,000 worth of coverage. And it doesn't matter if it's lost, stolen, broke. They will insure your rods and stuff. And I think that's a phenomenal thing. And you can contact Chase at 678-779-7269, or you can email him at chase@CassidySF.com and tell them that the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. And again, think about this. Your typical warranty on your rod's over $100. All right, this is for $75. That warranty only covers if you break your rod. This $75 policy covers all your stuff, again, from theft, from destruction, anything you want to do to it. Those guys have got you. So definitely, you guys, use that policy. Tell Chase we sent you up right there. So Robert Woody, Nathan, what's going on? How is everybody? And Jeremiah, the champ, is here. So again, if you're new tonight, make sure you join us and let's get started. And I'm going to introduce my star-studded audience tonight. To my left, we're going to start lowest to highest right here.
Man.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to start low. The Murphinator, how you doing? Andrew Murphy?
Oh, good.
Oh, you
I'm
good?
making it.
He's good. I asked him to come tonight just so somebody uglier than me would be on the show. So I took care of that.
It's a close race.
It's a close race, but I've got a bone to pick with him. All right, because a lot of you know, and Greg Hollander, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you here tonight. New listener. That's awesome.
What's up, my buddy Woody?
You know him.
He's my fishing partner.
Oh, there you go. All right, we appreciate you. Bobcat Outdoors. That is another.
That's another one of my buddies.
That's another one that I have not seen before. So we thank you guys for tuning in, and we hope that you will go to the channel, subscribe. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday night, and we're looking to expand our horizons and get into the catfishing and stuff like that. I've got a gentleman that I talked to that's going to come on in the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about the tournament aspects of catfishing.
Nice.
And so he couldn't make it tonight. So Landry H. Johnson. Chase is awesome. I have 3 policies with him. That's back to the insurance guys. So definitely right there is as good advertising as you can get. A customer that has a policy with that. Justin Speece, if you want to discuss the Electric Elite Tournament, yes, I did not show up. And yes, that Josh took a sub and they actually caught fish. However, the lake, if you couldn't catch fish on this lake, you just had a bad day. So it is hard labor. I've got a niece that could catch fish on hard labor. So
Lord.
Yeah, it's one of those. So anyway, thank you guys. But I want to, before I get to our guest for tonight, I want to pick on this guy a little bit. All right. If you're a fan of the show, you know there are a few things that I hate. All right. Paul, our great producer, producery back there came in and gave me a birthday present of an adult beverage that we won't name, but very nice. Took a lot of thought. Great bottle, something that I can add to my collection. And then here come Murphinator in. And this is what he brings me. A dad blasted whopper plopper. I hate these baits. This is the worst bait ever invented. But
Man,
do you do any bass fishing at all?
Yeah.
Do
I've
you
got
throw
an
a whopper
8.25
plopper?
pound bass. I got mine.
But do you throw this stuff?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so you got some class to you.
He just
But
hates it.
a whopper plopper 75. So I don't know whether to thank him or slap him, but anyway, we're gonna say thank you. I officially own a whopper plopper. So thank you very much.
Everybody should own one.
Everybody should own one, but nobody should use one. Okay, so there you go, like that. All
My
right,
wife says I am a whopper.
a whopper plopper.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I'm big and I plop down in that chair at the house.
You're nice. You're nice. Your wife's nicer than what my wife calls me. So, but whopper plopper is Jeremiah. Yeah, he got you the right size and color too. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's fine.
It's
That's
the
fine.
same one I throw.
We will do that. But I appreciate all the birthday wishes, guys. Thank you very much. Now let's get right into it. Our guest tonight is Daryl Morse.
Thank you for asking me on. Hi, guys.
Yep, definitely. And with Trophy Seekers Outdoors
Trophy Seekers Outdoors.
on
Yes.
Facebook and YouTube.
And YouTube.
Just started doing the YouTube stuff.
Yep. About 6 weeks ago.
About 6 weeks ago, he's got some videos. Go to his Facebook page. If you saw the picture that I posted today, you saw the man knows how to catch some big catfish. And is that what you seek? Do you just catfish in general, or you go seeking those big ones?
I do go looking for big catfish. I
Right.
mean, that's the name, Trophy Seekers. But,
Right.
I don't care. I tell people this. I don't care if it's a 25-pound catfish or my personal best 72-pound flathead. It's a trophy to me when I hook into one of those fish. And, man, they're in that current fighting. Gets me all crazy.
I laugh because he goes, if it's a 25-pounder, it's still as important as a 75-pounder. So that's like, if I hook something 20, I don't even know if I got a rod up there that'll pull a 25-pound catfish in
I
right
don't
there.
think
So-
I've ever caught a 25-pound
What's
catfish.
okay? So the biggest fish you ever caught?
Probably 8.5.
I caught a 20-pound carp out of a pay lake
Hey,
in South Carolina.
That sounds like good bait for us.
Well, listen, I'm gonna be honest. We traded it to a fellow with some catfish to go buy us beer. It was on my senior trip. That's a long time ago in Clemson, South. Long time ago. So that was different days back then. But 72 is the biggest fish you ever caught.
Yes, sir. That was with my buddy you seen on there, Bobcat Outdoors, Bob Britt.
Right?
He and I actually went fishing, and this was only 3 weeks ago, and caught it up on Chickamauga Lake.
On Chickamauga Lake.
Yes.
All right. So here's one of the interesting things. And I told Daryl this upstairs. I grew up catfishing. It's one of my favorite ways to fish. But my idea of catfishing is a typical Southern, put a little piece of chicken liver, throw it out on a Zebco 33, catch a couple channel cats, take them home and eat it.
Now,
You're
wait
playing a
minute, wait
whole
minute.
different
Did
ball
you
game.
put it in Mama's pantyhose where it
I
wouldn't
have
come off?
never once used pantyhose.
Come on
Listen,
now.
I like my ability to throw chicken liver is well known throughout Forsyth County. I can do it without throwing it off. Now, catching them's a different thing, but you're right. I've heard that trick.
Hey,
Is that a good trick?
it works.
It
Trot
works.
lines. Oh man.
Trot
That's
lines.
what
Okay.
I've heard it used.
Yeah. Put
On
it on
trot
a trot
lines
I've
or-
never
line.
heard it
Yeah.
used.
Now
Put it
I
on a
have
hook.
I have run a trot line or two in my day.
Yeah.
On some lakes that I'm not supposed to run trot lines on, some local lakes, but I've enjoyed catching some big channel cats that way.
Right. Yeah.
One thing in researching this a little bit, because again, I told you everybody that's my idea of catfishing.
Right.
So I did a little research today. All right. And I have read some stuff today where my idea of what a catfish is in a 2, 3, 4 acre pond is not, how do I want to say, really not what really goes on in the catfish's life. It's a
No.
little bit different.
Yeah.
Catfish are predators
Right.
and not the scavengers that we
That
pretty much
everybody
know.
thinks they are.
I
Yes.
think of a catfish as a scavenger
Yes.
and bottom dweller. I mean, I like eating them, so
Yeah.
it ain't no bother me, but it's
They
a whole
all think
different
that
thing.
they're eating other fish poop
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's
Right.
not
That's
true.
exactly what
Yeah.
everybody thinks a
Right.
catfish is.
Yeah. You see these little suckers in aquariums that sucking out, and
Yes.
that's not the catfish.
Well,
Yeah.
why don't you explain to all the guys that are watching? And again, like I said, we are bass heavy. So
Right.
this is going to be really good. I want you to educate us tonight and anybody that will watch this episode in the future. What's the reality of the catfish?
The reality, guys, I'll just be honest with you right now, is the fresher the bait, the better the bait.
Okay.
And I don't care if that's Lake Lanier, Carter's Lake, Altoona, and don't get me wrong, chicken livers is great. I mean, if you're out there trying to catch channel cats or whatever, or turtle or whatever,
Right. I've caught many a turtle. Absolutely.
But to really get into, I mean, it's the same thing as bass fishing. You don't take a little minnow that's for crappie and go out there and chase bass with them.
Right.
You're going to take a bigger bait. And a lot of times people don't even realize that in that lake is that bigger fish. It's just you went out there with a little piece of chicken liver that the brims got on there and picked it off.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And that's the way I was up to 6 months ago. I'm not going to lie. I mean, man, probably a year ago.
Yeah.
We'd go out and do the pantyhose with the chicken livers or get these dough balls and stuff, and they'll catch fish. Don't get me wrong. And like I tell everybody, a trophy is what it is to you. If the biggest catfish you ever caught was 5 pounds and you caught a 6 pound, hey guys, that is a trophy.
That's your PB. That's your personal best, right?
That's your personal best. So, my personal best before 6 months ago was 18 pounds, guys. 18 pounds was my best. That was when I was 12 years old.
Really?
We caught it on a trot line. Me and my dad would caught one that was like 12 pounds and one was 18 pounds. That was my biggest fish.
Right.
And I started with one of my other friends, Ricky Bramlett, and we started fishing in Carter's and stuff. And I'll just, if it's okay, I'll tell you sort of how I got started in the trophy.
Hey, listen,
first,
it's all about you tonight, man.
There.
That's all about you.
We would go fishing in Carter's Lake and we'd do okay,
right.
10, 12, 15 pounders, but
channels
and flatheads.
Okay.
A lot of flatheads in there. And so I was like, well, I used to fish Lanier a lot and we'd go up there and catch stripers and stuff. And I'd catch catfish up there. I'm like, I'm going to go try up there. So I went up to Lake Lanier and started catching fish up there. And biggest thing we caught up there was a 15 pounder.
Again, channel or flat?
Well, actually, and a lot of people don't realize this, but I have pictures of them. There's channel cats, there's flatheads, and there's blue cats.
Blue. Okay. So you got a blue that time.
Yeah. And, so, I started catching those and I was like, I was on a mission to better that 18 pounds.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm like, how am I going to do this? I've been fishing for almost a year and I keep catching right at it, but I don't do it. So what I do, I went to YouTube and I Googled catfish and I started seeing these guys out there catching catfish. And I seen this one guy and he was up in Tennessee fishing the Tennessee River, right below Chickamauga Dam. And his YouTube channel is Chat Cats.
Chat Cats. Okay.
And
check it out.
Yeah. Chat Cats. Guys, if you want to see, if you're going to fish up in the Tennessee River, Joe is a great fisherman.
Right. Okay.
So I started watching and man, he's bringing in these big catfish. I'm like, goodness. I mean, I'm talking, anywhere from 25 to, I think his best is 90 something pounds, and I'm watching these YouTube channels. I'm like, holy smoke.
Right. Absolutely.
What in the world? Then I start seeing this guy named Catfish Dave. He's very famous in the catfish world. He's catching nice fish and catfish. He's up there doing it. A lot of these guys that's fish Tennessee River. I'm like, wow. And I used to play football in high school, and we would watch film learning the other team. And that's the way I did YouTube. I'd break it down. I looked at what they were using, their lines. I'd listen. They'd tell about the weight of line, their leaders, their weights, and all that.
Right.
And I started watching that and just learning,
Yeah, absolutely.
And Hayden Grubbs, he's up in Kentucky. I'm pretty sure it's Kentucky. He's a great one to watch also. And he was fishing the same way too. And there's just a bunch of them out there, that's out there that I was watching. So first time I went up to Tennessee River, I'm like, okay, I got my stuff. And my buddy Ricky, I said, let's go up there and try it. And so
never been there before.
Never been to the tennis. Never. I went up the week before to look at it.
It's a big river.
It's a big river, baby.
We ain't talking Etowah.
I was like, holy! When I seen it, I was like, holy smoke!
That's a whole different ball game right there.
I looked at it. And I look at these ramps. It's going straight down into this river that's pouring 50,000 CFM per minute. Yeah. And they're like, holy smoke!
Big boy river.
Yes.
And
I've got a Carolina skiff, 17-footer, and I'm like, well, let's try it.
There you go.
So we come back the next week and it's before daylight. I ain't getting in that river before daylight.
I don't blame you.
I don't know.
blame you.
You know,
Absolutely.
I don't know where the rocks are. You know,
Absolutely.
So I
Smart.
said, let's wait till the light gets up. You know,
Yeah.
and so it gets daylight enough for us to see. You know, and we creep out there on there, and we're looking at the depth finder. You know, and you're seeing all this water break. And, you know, to me, I'm in the Etowah River. I'm looking at water break like that, and I'm looking for rocks. You know,
Right,
what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Up there, you're seeing that, and rock. It's 25, 30 foot deep.
I was getting ready
you
to
know?
say that ain't on the surface.
I'm like, wow.
Oh,
So
it's
I
gonna
go
be
up
so
there
fast.
to the dam where, and me and Joe are buddies now, where I'd seen my buddy Joe up there, man. He's up there free lining baits and stuff, catching catfish. And so what, to start off with, there's just bait, just bubbling up everywhere, birds hitting and everything. I'm like, heck, let's go up there and see if we can catch some. So we went up there and we started throwing some jigs and stuff because we thought it was skipjack. First time I've been there. I don't know
You're
what's
trying
going
to
on.
catch bait.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch bait. To catch
Skipjack.
that.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but I've got some other bait, and I'll tell you what it
Right,
was later.
but that's
I'm gonna
what you're
keep that
trying
a
to do.
secret
You're
right
trying
now.
to catch skipjack.
Right. So in the meantime, I put some bait on my rod, and I just let it down beside the boat while I'm trying to catch skipjack. And I look, I actually put two, and man, they're both going off. You know, I reel in over here, and it's a blue, and I reel it over here. I said, Ricky, man, drop a rod. And he drops a rod, you know, in the same way. And we don't catch any skipjack, but we're catching blues and channels like
Are you
nobody's
serious?
business.
There you
Yes.
go. All right, that's awesome.
And I was like, wow. And I had to leave. I got a call. My dad was in bad shape, and I got a call that I needed to come check on him. So we only fished like 45 minutes, caught like 12 fish. And so, man,
That's like more than I catch a month. But
that set me on fire.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, and then from that point on, I started going up there. And first time I went up there, the next time I went up there, I think with my buddy Woody. And,
Okay.
he and I fished up there, and we both caught 18-pound catfish, which I tied my best.
You
on
tied
the
your
second
best,
trip up
right?
there. Yeah.
Now, where would you go? Just out of curiosity, are you going in Chattanooga or where
Yeah.
you going? You're in Chattanooga.
Yeah. And what I did was I watched what Joe did.
Okay.
Joe puts in the summertime, spring, and fall usually. He's actually a wrestling coach up there,
Okay.
and he teaches up there at elementary school, I think it is, or middle school. But anyway, I would watch him and see what he was doing, and I could see him. You know, he'd talk about the water and all.
Mhm.
And when I got out on the river, I actually could see where he was fishing at.
Gotcha. So
But
yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to go fish his hose. But what I would do was I'd go over to where he was fishing the week before, and I'd look at that hole. I'd look at the structure in it on my graft, or where he was fishing. It might not be a hole, might be ledges, but I'd look at that, and then I'd go hunt me a place like it.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't going to learn nothing following Joe around. And I
Right.
told Joe this because when he and I went out fishing first, I said, I'd go look at your hose, but I wouldn't fish them. Unless I didn't catch nothing, I was about to go, then I'd go fish one. But most of the time, I never would fish his hose. I'd actually go somewhere else and fish.
Right.
And so like I say, the second time I ever went up there, I caught 18 pounds. And then I took my son up there, and we both caught 20-pound catfish.
There you go. So, all right.
So
that's
it
the
was
third
my
trip.
Third trip. I bettered my
Okay.
PB.
There you go.
And then
Blue cat?
yes, sir.
Okay, blue cat.
And then he had to outdo me. He caught a 22-pounder that day.
Of course.
Which I didn't. It was my son.
That's right. Of course.
If I'm in the boat with you, if you catch a 50 and I catch that 10, I'm just as happy.
Unless you take this gentleman here fishing with you. If that happens, kick him off.
I'm gonna catch it.
He's
on
going
that.
to try to catch
A
him on
whopper
his flopper
flopper.
popper, right?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
catch
Flopper
one on
plopper.
this
That's what I'm gonna
weekend.
call it. Flopper plopper. That's yeah.
Of
There
course,
you go.
I've got friends like
Yeah, 'cause
him,
you can just
Woody,
flop 'em in the
Bob.
boat with-
Right, absolutely.
You know, that's gonna get. But that's the way it got started, and then I got serious, you know, and
You
started
liked
going
it.
up. Oh God!
Oh yeah.
Just in that current, catching something like that, and then I just started catching, going and getting bigger fish.
Before you get going, try to
Yes, sir.
describe to some of my guys that watch the show all the time, because again, like I said, we're talking smaller lakes.
Yes, sir.
What I love how he calls me sir.
Everybody's sir. I grew up in that era.
I love you. I swear, I know, but it don't happen. And then I'm like,
I grew up in
man,
that
I'm
era.
old.
You
It's my
call people
birthday.
sir.
I get it.
Yeah.
Get it. But describe to some of our guys what it feels like, just a 20-pound blue cat in a current. Just describe it.
It feels like a 30, 40-pound fish. So you're sitting out there. Here's the thing is you set up, you drop anchor in that current, and you're fishing off the back of the boat, of course.
Right. You turn around, the current's coming by you, and you're throwing out
And you're
behind
sitting there, and you see what we call a takedown.
And what is a takedown?
A takedown is when that catfish hits that rod, and that rod goes. A lot of times it go, poof, 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 and then it'll just go. Whoosh,
Okay, so
and you see
rod
it
slams.
almost hit the. Yeah, watch the videos because I won't touch a rod until I get a good takedown.
Okay.
Because
all right.
that's what catfishermen live for, is that takedown and then that reeling it in.
So before we go, and then I don't mean to keep interrupting you because I'm
Right.
trying to get in my
No
mind.
problem.
Because
Go.
you're teaching me here. So when I was little, young, and even to now, if I went catfishing and I've got my line out, I got it sitting in my little forked stick,
Right.
the line would come in, and then I would wait for the line to take off. It was
Right.
never a bow pole. A pole. I tried to time it. You're saying, hey, all that's fine, but when it goes slam, now it's time to play.
Right.
Different ball game. Okay.
Right. And,
Continue. Yeah.
and it's a different bait. And I'll show some of that in a
Exactly,
minute too.
okay.
But it's a different hooks and everything. You don't set a hook the way we do it. We use circle hooks. But when that rod goes down and you grab that thing, and I've caught, and I don't want to sound like I'm a professional because I say 6 months is all it's been since I've been really trophy fishing. I've just been lucky. I tell everybody,
No. There's some skill involved.
And you feel that thing on there and you feel that head shake. I mean, you know how a bass, when it comes out of the water and shakes.
Yes.
Imagine that down in a current that's 3 to 4 miles an hour, whenever it's really rolling, that weighs 10 times what a bass is, shaking its head like that, but down in the water, and you're just holding it. And you're not, and it's just like my buddy Woody will go, "It's set down on me." That's his favorite word. It's set down.
So it's just,
it went down to the bottom.
It is dug down.
And you're just, you're just trying. You don't want to break a line. You don't want to pull a hook. You're just sitting there trying to get it up. And once it comes up, and then you're just cranking down. It's a lot like deep sea fishing. You're coming down, cranking down to it, bringing back up, and cranking down to it. And it's just. It's the greatest.
No, that's absolutely awesome. I can tell that you enjoy it.
I love it. I love it.
So that's the beauty of it is that when you came in and you started talking to me, I'll be honest, I didn't know what you would bring to the table when we talked. You come in, we just met 45 minutes ago, but I could tell in your face that you're passionate about what you're doing in this and you love it. And
I love it.
And the teaching aspect that we're going to get into here later on, there's going to be some stuff he's really going to show that I think is going to be awesome. Because it's stuff that we can use on the rivers around here. Even we might have to downsize a little bit. With some of the stuff, but it's still the technique.
Yeah. Instead of throwing a skipjack that weighs 2 pounds, you throw a minnow that's 3-4 inches.
But it's the same technique and stuff you're looking for.
And we fish with live bait too. I mean, flathead, and especially on lakes and stuff, prefer live bait.
Well, see, and like I said, there's so much to cover about catfishing. In the comments, there was one from Eric Thurman who fished a kayak tournament this past weekend, and we'll mention that kayak tournament in a little bit. Yes, Brian Blake has lost some weight. He's talking about you filling in for Blake. Blake is a little bit thinner this week.
Hair's a little bit longer.
Hair's a little longer and all that. But what is cool is he was out in this bass tournament on Lanier, and he was throwing what looked to be like it was a crankbait, looked to be like a Fritz, something like that, rock crawler, something like that. And he nailed into a catfish, and actually it broke his hooks as he was getting it in. But that shows what you just said. They're a predator. They're not just sitting there eating other fish's poop.
And more likely, it was probably a channel cat.
I think
those guys. I mean, they're notorious. They're really aggressive, and I've caught them on, throwing a Rapala or whatever, especially shallow water, and I'm twitching it.
Spro rock crawler is what he was using. Got a question for you, real quick.
Of them on a plastic worm.
Oh yeah,
you have bass fishing. You catch them all the time.
You go throw up in a brush pile, and there they are.
Got a question for you, real quick. Daniel Duckett, and by the way, Daniel, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you this past weekend and your family. Appreciate it every time you guys come down to the shop here at Fish North Georgia. So, especially, I believe that's your mom. I love it. This guy's mom. She's fantastic every time she comes. But he wants to know if you use swivels for rolling, and I think you probably meant rolling. So
rolling. He's talking about because
rolling.
A blue cat, a blue cat will roll,
and that's the spin that we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I
mean, an alligator.
I'm assuming this is my thoughts. Because I don't talk catfish. I've said that plenty of times on my. I'm assuming they're trying to roll that hook out of their mouth.
Right.
So actually, let's just grab
let's do it. Let's bring in the props. This man, listen, guys, this guy brought props.
Yeah.
I love it.
What I fish with is, and I am a cheap guy when it comes to doing stuff. If it works, why spend $100 on a rod if I can spend $39.95 for an ugly stick? So that's what I had. And one thing, the
ugly
reason
stick, I love it.
it's white, and if you're fishing at night, you can see it. I had some black rods and stuff at one time when I was fishing night. I couldn't see them.
Makes sense. There you go. Tip number one. White rods.
Especially, or they sell these fluorescent rods also. I'm going to tell you something. Catfishermen got to match. We've got to match. I
understand that. Y'all are a different breed of people. That's what. But you're not that much different than the bass guys. They got to match too and all that.
Like all my rods are ugly stick white, and there'll be guys that'll have all monster rods.
Yes.
That's all red or a blue
but that's
whatever.
Their sign. Yeah. That's what they like. Okay.
We do a lot of matching.
All right. Gotcha.
Anyway, but yeah, I'll show you this rig. Let me unhook it here.
And I'll tell you guys, it's not that it's a really extravagant rig, but there's a lot of thought that goes into this rig as well. It's not just, hey, we're going to tie a big old hook on the end of it. There's some stuff on here that I ain't seen. And I mean, honestly, it looks a little bit different. I don't know if we'll have a great shot, but I mean, even in the camera, look at that glow dark green he's got line. Yeah. What kind of line? What brand line is that?
This is. Hang on.
And feel free to jump in anytime you want to. I know you're
studying, right?
You are studying.
Berkeley Trilane, big game. That's what I use. There's a lot of different lines out there, but I use 40 pound on the reel. And then I use 50 pounds for a leader just because it's a little heavier for the rocks and stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot of people use up to 80 pound leaders. Yeah, 80 pounds. And it's not because of the big size of the fish, because, I mean, if you buy the right rod, the right reels, you got your, it's just like bass fishing. You have your drag set right. You can bring in a huge fish, So
I want to go one thing because it's on my mind before I forget. I noticed in your earlier thing, you were talking about using electronics.
Yes.
Is electronics as big in the catfish game as it is in the bass world?
Especially to me, I would go spot to spot in the summertime and just throw out and catch fish. In the wintertime, it's like they're in more of groups. And spotting those fish in either holes or off ledges or, stuff like that. And you've got to look at it's a lot like bass fishing. You just don't go out there and throw and catch one. You look at red clay banks, rocks. This week they may be off of a red clay bank ledge with stumps. Next week they may be in a bunch of rocks.
Ain't that something? It is a lot like bass fishing.
Just like it.
That's
you're
what
looking for something on. Hey, I just bought $1,000 Garmin. That's that will take
it is right into the catfish game too. There we go. Yeah.
I mean, I want people say, what's the most important thing? What type electronics should I get? I say the most that you can afford.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the best things you can do for finding catfish is having good electronics. And one of the videos that I think it may be coming out. No, it may already come. I can't remember. I've edited so many videos.
I know it runs through my brain.
Woody's like, man, I can't believe you saw 3 fish down there. I mean, you can see, what I'm talking about. I could see them down there sitting on the bottom in some stumps. I could tell it was fish, and we caught 2 out of 3.
That's
and it's
absolutely awesome.
Just like bass fishing.
Just
you
like
set
bass
up
fishing.
on them. You see them right here. You'll back off of them, anchor down or spot lock. I have spot lock. If the current's not too strong, we'll do spot lock. And that's the catfisherman's best buddy is spot lock.
Oh, I bet. Especially
because we run and gun. Buddy. We run and gun too. Myself, I lock down for 20 minutes. If I don't catch one in 20 minutes, I'm moving.
Are you serious? Because I'm used to throwing some chicken liver for hours.
Sitting there for 2 hours waiting on the
rod. Is he biting or is he just not there? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Is he there and just sleeping and going to wake up later?
No. Smell it and come to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now at night you can do it more because they're doing. But during the day, if I don't get a bite in 20 minutes, you got to be versatile. Just like people don't realize catfishing is a lot like bass fishing. Run and gun. And especially on the river, if I come to a place like a red bank that comes straight off and then levels out and it's got stumps and I catch a couple of fish there, you know what I'm looking for? I'm not looking for rocks. I'm going to find another place on the river like that and go, let's see if they're here. and I start catching it. Now I'm start looking for that.
So you develop a pattern for it.
Yeah,
just like you
you're
would with a
pattern
bass.
fishing just like a bass.
Okay.
And and that's what like I say. I have a 8¼ pound bass mounted that I've caught. I used to love to bass fish. Now I like to use them to catfish. Catfish.
We just lost all our viewers.
Anyway, it's just you're doing the same thing. You're just catching a whole lot bigger fish and just wearing you out.
That is awesome, though. That you're making the point that I think because when I told people, hey, I'm doing a catfish show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of guys that are bass guys go, hell, I don't want nothing about catfish.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with that, guys. But
I didn't know anything about it.
And I asked him, I said, listen, you want to come on tonight? I got an empty chair. Come on, And he goes, I don't know nothing about catfishing.
Yeah.
But after listening to you for 30 minutes, I'm starting to see a pattern that's
just be a sponge.
He is a sponge, but I'm starting to see some stuff that's like, you're not too far off from what some of these bass guys are. You're looking for structure. You're looking for and as your buddy said, Bobcat Outdoors, you're looking for current breaks. You're looking for
current breaks.
like
Huge,
same
huge.
thing you do.
Same exact thing.
Yeah. Bob lives up in Tennessee. I wish I'd have brought him down here also because he's a great fisherman also and great crappie fisherman. You guys should bring him on for crappie.
Hey, absolutely. Cole. I'm assuming it's Ferguson or whichever one. Ferguson. It's a name I haven't seen before, so thank you for showing up. But just make sure you use spots, and I guess spotted bass in some places.
I understand. When you go to Lake Lanier, you hate spots, guys.
Listen, Bobcat Outdoors, ditch pickles make great bait. So I got you. Them spots in certain locations.
We call them green fish.
Green fish. Okay, I got that. All right. So
anyway, let me get back to this.
Because I didn't want to forget. My brain's old now, and I didn't want to forget. So
Daddy said, "Are you sure you could talk for 2 hours about fishing?"
Oh, yes, we can.
I can talk, folks.
Yes, we can.
All right, this is the hook we use. I don't know if you can pick that.
Yeah, he can see it on that camera.
That is a 8/0.
Good.
That is a 8/0 circle hook. Now that's what I use up there on the Tennessee River, Chickamauga, Nickajack, wherever I'm going.
Damn shark hook's what it looks like.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't never seen a freshwater hook that big.
Yeah, we also use a 5/0. If I'm going to Lake Lanier, it's an 8/0.
8/0. Okay.
I use a 4.
I use a 5/0. Let me grab that.
Look at the size of that thing. That would put a whipping on a man if he got,
Think about somebody reeling.
Well,
yeah.
If you're catching a 74-pound flathead, you want a big hook. You don't go shark fishing with a brim hook, right?
That's true.
Listen, I jerked a hook out of my co-host's head a couple of weeks ago, but it wasn't nothing like that.
Oh, it's fine.
If we run out of hooks, all these bass fishermen running around with the hooks on their bill, we'll steal them from them just to use them for catfish.
Listen, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
This is a 5/0. This is a 5/0 circle hook.
Wow,
that's the difference.
That's a huge difference.
And, I use this like Lake Lanier Carter's or something like that.
Real clear water.
Yeah.
That's
one thing you use this way because it's got a big opening. When you hook bait, it comes down here. A catfish does not care if that hook's showing. He doesn't care if you're using, bright line or anything like that.
So we ain't got to use fluoro on these guys. All right, I got you.
Anyway, so I start off with that. Oh, this is a leader. This one's about 24. I make my leaders different lengths. People go, oh, it's 12 inches. It has to be 18 inches. You know what it has to be? Whatever it is when I finish tying that line up.
I like it. That's how that's perfect.
Then I use a peg float. The reason I use a peg float, I didn't in the beginning, but I do now just because when I'm fishing down there in the river, it'll float that bait up and it doesn't get hung up in the rocks and the stumps and stuff.
Okay, so your bait technically is not on the bottom. We're up about 1.5 feet, 2 feet, whatever your leader is. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
that thing's only a couple inches off your hook, so they don't care.
Oh yeah, no, they bite on it. They may think it's some part of it. I don't know.
I'll be doggone. Ain't that
and then
big old.
I don't know if it makes a big difference. I'm sort of doing a little bit of a thing with this. This is a rattle. I will say I've noticed people catch a lot more flatheads with the rattle than they do anything else. So I think it might do a different with that, but hey, it's on there. It's on a pretty little piece of equipment.
The man has rattles on this catfish bait. All right, there we go.
I've heard people come up to a barrel swivel. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. A barrel swivel above that.
Right.
And then I just use a rubber bush in there, whatever bead to protect that.
Protect the knot.
And then what we call is a sinker slide. It makes it like a Carolina rig. And then for the river, it's a 6-ounce lead.
Good gosh.
Yeah, that's why you don't keep them on the. Let me move this over just a
Yeah,
little bit.
that's fine. You do what you got to do.
That's why we don't keep them on the line, because it just swings all over. So you just put that on there. And the reason I use sinker slide too, if I go to Lake Lanier, I may only use a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce. But in that fast current, you want a 6 ounce. So
good. No, that's a big.
It's
All right,
just
so we got
easy.
several questions for you. Let's
Yeah.
get to the first one. What style circle hook? Inline circle, octopus circle, or another type?
I use, it's really an octopus
Okay.
because it's all set.
And
Guys, you don't really realize, but the catfishing world has exploded with different tackle. Like this here
oh yeah,
is a Whisker Seekers 8/0 triple threat hook.
specifically made, I guess,
Right.
since it says
That's
whisker.
what, yeah,
Seeker.
and I'll show you again. It's all set like the octopus. Bent back. Plus, it's the circle hook. Plus, it's offset to
Right.
one side for whenever it hits it. These hooks you don't pull, you just reel. It's made to hook the side of that catfish's mouth. If we catch a big fish out there, we want to let it go. So you don't want a gut hook. So when you just reel real hard, this hook comes around and hooks in the side of their mouth. That
Okay.
way it's easier to get out. And you can see if you rig it right, it's going to turn. You see how this hook
Pop that down. Okay, there you go. You're up high enough for
Yeah.
people to see. Look at that.
if it'll turn in, see how it turns when it pulls?
I'll be
It'll catch
doggone.
in you, especially if it's rigged the right way. It'll turn into your own. Same thing with a catfish. When you reel, it turns and catches the side of its mouth.
So you're not shark setting the hook like you got a shark. You just
No,
reel.
you're. My thing is, do not take my rod out of my holder until you've reeled it 4 times. Until you spun it 4 hard times while it's
and that's your hook set.
That's your hook set. Then just pick up and start reeling. That's your hook set. That's the one thing you have to get used to. So that's why I don't let anybody. I tell everybody, don't take them out of the rod holder. Just reel them that way, because if you didn't fish that way, your tendency is going to be to jerk it just like you was bass fishing.
That is absolutely fantastic information,
So-
because I'd be setting that hook like at the end of the world was coming. Got a
Breaking
question
our
for you.
odds.
What brand hooks and swivels do you like? Now, of course, what brand was that one?
This is Whisper Seekers
Whisker Seekers,
from Triple Threat.
triple threat.
And
Okay.
the type swivel I really like is the one I buy that holds up right. You know, if you got to see, these are big swivels. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
just
good
a barrel
Lord.
swivel.
Probably
I
pulled the
mean,
Titanic off the bottom
Yeah,
of
I
the thing.
and I've got
It's
some
evil
bigger
claw.
than that.
That's
But,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I say, if it works, I don't care about the name brand as much as just I want to. You know, if I have a failure, I'm going to make sure I don't buy that one anymore. But,
Right.
you know, if it works, I'm good.
That's
Same
awesome.
thing. And then, like I say, this is a river rig.
And Jeremiah, we're going to get to that question because listen,
Go ahead. What is it?
no, he was asking about the baits, and we're going to get to that in a little bit
Yeah.
because this man brought baits. I mean, I'm not lying to you. He actually brought real baits, and we're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
Well, I knew you had to. You're mostly bass fishing, and I wanted you guys to see. Hey, if you just one day go, you know what? I want to go try catfishing. That it's a lot like catfish or bass fishing.
Absolutely, yeah.
In a lake, usually I have several of these. It's a Abu Garcia 6500 C3.
Yeah.
I like this in a lake just because it's not overkill and it's a 5.3 ratio. But I started out using these in the river, but about wore my arm out trying to reel with them because they don't. You can get a bigger handle for them, but they don't have the real big. I went to, and once again, my buddy Chat Catch Joe Jelston used these, and it's a Kuma 300 CL Classic, CLX.
Looks like something on Wicked Tuna.
And you see, it's got a big handle on it, and it's
Right.
It's a 4-to-1 ratio.
Yes.
It's just when you've got a piece of ½ pound to a pound skipjack on there, and you're reeling that into a current.
Excuse me.
You get tired of reeling that in every time.
Absolutely.
And you've got 4 to 5 rods out there, to 6 rods out there. You want an easy pull in
Absolutely.
type deal. So,
Michael Temples, hey buddy, I know you're making that comment based upon the color, but the reality is this is not braid. This is high visibility solar collector, trialing big game mono.
Yeah, monofilament.
Monofilament, and he's running 40-pound test on his rods and then going to a 50-pound leader. So I know you saw the color and you're like, hey, that's braid. And I understand exactly why you're saying that. But you don't use any braid whatsoever. You're a mono guy, right?
Right. Yeah. All mono.
Straight
I
mono.
like the stretch
Yeah.
of that mono. And the thing about the other braid too, remember we're fishing in rocks and stuff, and you nick that braid, it's just not as forgiving as this is. And
you have found that out from experience and stuff.
Well, not myself. I'm not going to say it, but other catfishermen. YouTube again,
Use
guys. YouTube if you want to find something out, guys. If you live, wherever you live, find guys that do YouTube, and you'll learn a lot from.
Yeah,
them.
Michael, absolutely not your bad, dude. Absolutely not, because you saw the color, and I totally understand why you made the comment that you were making. And when I read it, I knew. Because you came in, I knew it was just the color threw you off, because it does look like braid on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube.
Right.
Absolutely it does. But it is a solar collector trialing big game mono. So absolutely, man, no, not your bad at all. That's a great question.
Well, we like things that show up.
Yes.
And at night also, this is fluorescent green will show up better, especially if you throw a black light at it or something like that.
How often do you change your line when catching big catfish?
Usually I will check it after the leader after every time I catch one, or even let's just say I sit 20 minutes in a spot and I didn't do anything, but I reeled it in because it's down there. Like I say, the current in the river. Now lake it's not as important, but down there I'll check that leader every time before I throw it back in or when I bring it in.
Gotcha.
The main line, not as much, just because it's not getting damaged as much.
I got you. I love it. Harry Sachs. I haven't seen that name again before, so I'm glad you actually showed up. Any of y'all have a favorite fishing outfit? I got my lucky shirt, has the chest pocket on the right side. Look good, feel good, fish good. Deion Sanders. Totally get it. You have lucky clothes?
I wear overalls.
I don't wear underwear during the fishing.
That's the fat boy's best friend.
Fat boy's best friend. I know.
Everyone that catches big fish wears overalls.
Barday catches it. Maybe I need to wear underwear because I don't wear underwear to fishing tournaments. Do you do that? You don't go commando during a tournament?
No.
How about that? In your overalls, are you commando?
Heck no. What if I got to go? Hey, if I've got to go up in the woods,
right?
I might need toilet paper.
Exactly. That's what.
Come on, man.
That's what socks are for.
Oh, okay.
I don't go.
You don't go sockless and all that.
No,
oh, that's funny. That's you don't wear socks. Well, what do you do when you got to go to the bathroom on the lake?
He uses underwear. Come on, man.
There we go. That's awesome. That's
we're on the same page.
Right.
But Brian, you said something up there a little bit. Actually, the overalls, because I did notice your pictures, your overalls.
Yeah.
I there's certain things I like shorts if I can get away with them. You know, it's not too much information, guys. I just call it like I see it. So,
my boy Bobcat.
That's it. Casey Blanton. I'm wearing my Liberties on Sunday. He's a local stick. There you go. So it must be the overalls. But now, when it gets summertime,
in, man, you're sitting there 12 hours in a day.
That's why I don't wear underwear.
And you got a place to put your phone for when you catch that big catfish. You just pull it out and take the picture, baby.
Well, I don't catch fish, so that's why I don't. Maybe that's what I got to do.
Get you a pair of overalls.
Daniel Fowler, how you doing? A pair of overalls. Well, I got those pairs. They're big enough for Barday to get in, though, and I got to get rid of them. Get some smaller ones.
That's the problem.
They're big. They're big. So, I do come out of the woods with my sleeves torn off. Right there. Sometimes you do what you got to do, and that's just what you do.
He sounds like a deer hunter also. Been there, done that too.
Been there and done that, absolutely. I noticed Brian Marcuson up there made a comment that's been on up about the bait that you're using is bigger than some of the fish we catch. And yes, it is. And we're going to get to that after I'm going to go to the bait after the mid-break episode like that. So, what is your biggest catfish in Georgia? Is it that 20-pounder?
18 pounds.
18 pounds.
18 pounds in Georgia. It was in a local pond.
It was in a local pond.
Flathead in local pond.
Flathead in local pond. Now, of all the catfish species you've caught, in my research today, pretty much you've got channel, you've got blues, and you've got flats.
Yeah. Well, there's more. There's like bullheads.
Okay. So, but those are the three predominant.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Do you ever fish for food? Catch catfish for food? Are you totally 100% dedicated?
Love fish. But
Right.
my wife hates fish.
So
She
does
says,
mine. What is it
she
about
says
women?
if she wants fish, she's going to Captain D's.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
oh,
that
Lord.
sounds exactly like my wife.
So I don't get to eat it much, but so it's a great thing that I turn. And besides, I don't know if you guys look at where every boat ramp up in Tennessee. It says don't consume catfish up here.
Oh, does it?
I think it's like 1 million a month because of all the pollution in the river that was done years ago.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Now there are.
So guys, don't eat many up there. Leave them for me to catch.
There you go. And that's interesting because they have those in Georgia, for the lakes, and they sell
Right.
stuff like that. You never think about that because I love catfish. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. But my wife's the same way. I don't know what it is about women and Captain D's.
Yeah.
That is not fish. I mean, it is, but it's not, I mean,
It's that cheap white
it's that
fish.
batter she
Yeah,
likes.
that's exactly what it is.
batter.
It's that batter.
Yeah.
So what happens in the woods should stay in the woods, Eric Thurman. That's exactly right. TP and wet wipes. Hey, those dude wipes come in handy. Absolutely, Brian. Heavy metals, mercury and stuff is what Bobcat Outdoors is saying about that.
Bobcat lives up there.
He lives up there.
That's
And
Bob
let me ask you something. Is the pollution worse in Tennessee than it would be like in Lake Lanier or Carter's Lake or something like that?
You got to remember all those barges. You've got the grains. They do concrete up there. You've got the nuclear.
You got the nuclear plants
right
up there,
on the lake. Sequoia.
You can see it.
Oh yeah, that's where that's where the
drive
72-pound flathead come in. You fished up there, right?
I fished Chickamauga.
Up there. Do you know where the spout is? Where it comes out in the river? It's actually warmer there.
Yes,
that's where we went, and we were fishing just below it in that warmer water because that was one thought of. When we were going up there, I was like, "Well, I'd like to fish at that spout." He calls it the crack pipe. So, because it's warm coming out, he calls it the crack pipe.
That's just like bass
crack
pipe.
So
there you go.
I said, "I'd like to go." He goes, "Well, we're not that far. Let's go over there." We set up over there in that warmer water, and that's where they were at because it was like 51, 52 degrees there. Anywhere else, it was like 47, 46 degrees.
Same thing.
So it was warmer.
The
right.
exact same thing. If you can find a warm spot bass fishing, I mean, usually there's
the same thing like in the back of a cove on a warm winter day. That water's going to warm up quicker.
Warm.
Yeah. So like I say, catfish, they're a predator just like a bass. It's a lot the same.
Just
fishing.
like it.
Yeah. You're just using bigger gear.
Upstream chemical plants as well.
Yeah.
That's a crying shame.
Now, I have heard that there was some traces of mercury in Alatoona too, and on the Etowah. I don't know,
but EPA's cleaned that up,
there,
but it's still in there from years ago too. You got to remember that. So
and that probably comes back to the reputation of the catfish as a bottom feeder.
Right. Well, he's a bottom dweller. He is staying down on bottom more, where all that is.
I got you.
I guess it kind of all settles to the bottom, just like thermostat.
I was told something by a biologist one time that catfish actually smell through their skin. You ever heard that?
Well, I know they have the lines going down on them.
Exactly.
I had got that far in the research.
And see we did a podcast with Shannon. He was telling me he was saying that catfish are able to downstream smell, but it's not like what we think. They can absorb it through their skin, stuff like that, which is pretty interesting in and of itself. That shows that the different type of fish. Now, I want you to explain to everybody. It is a shame, Daniel. Absolutely, it's a shame, and that's just that's one of the things we humans do. Sometimes we need to take a little more care of what we're doing.
Back then, we didn't think about what it was doing to
today.
Yeah, exactly.
We got smarter.
I want you, because this is a perfect time for me to take my bathroom break, right?
Oh, no, it's not at all.
It is a perfect time. So you ready to take over the show for a second? Can you do it, Young Buffalo?
I can.
So what I want you to do?
Have a couple questions.
You do got a couple questions.
I do.
Perfect timing.
I've got lots of lies. I'm a fisherman.
Oh, perfect.
I see that little meme that I actually put it on my Facebook page. It said the fish were so bad at biting today, even the liars didn't catch any.
Hey, I've had those days more times than not, but I've had those days. Now, one question I do have.
Okay.
I know as a bass fisherman, I show up to a tournament. I got 6, 7 rods on the deck, and then I got 3 or 4 in my rod box always,
right,
with different lures tied onto them, worm, shaky head, everything. As a catfish fisherman, do you do kind of the same thing, or are all your setups
if I was
the same?
going to a tournament, I would have all kind of different ties.
Okay.
Yes, and if I didn't, I'd have something like this. Good question. I would have bags like this that would have different rigs, because there's so many. You can do the Carolina rig, you can do it where the leads doesn't float, double hooks, different things like that. I would do, because especially if I was on a lake, that would be a way that I would do for just setting up anchor fishing. There's also a way that you drag just like you were doing stripers.
Okay.
And
so you do so there is a
trolling
way where you troll just like you would for a striper.
You do about 0.3 to 0.5 miles an hour.
Okay.
And
there's
a guy on YouTube that really does it good, Jimmy Smith. Gear, Lord of mercy, I just know him by the name. It's help me out, Bob. What is it? Gear and Catfish or something like that. I know Bob's watching. He'll put it up there. But Jimmy Smith's really good at dragging. I mean, doing that. And they do that over in the Carolinas a lot. I've watched it. I've got stuff to do it. And that's what I plan on doing, like at Lanier and Carter's, because I'm going to go back and I'm going to top that in Georgia. I'm going to top my 18 pounds in Georgia. And I'm going to start doing some of that dragging, because, and one thing is it helps you to locate.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm dragging and I catch one there and then I start up and catch another one, I might anchor down and start anchor fishing there for a little while. So yeah, there's lots of different ways to do it, you know. So
now I was looking on the comments that one you got highlighted right now.
He's got like Kentucky rig, Carolina rig, Sandy Cooper Cooper rig is I'm doing a variation of that whenever I'm putting the floats on stuff.
Okay.
There's so many different ways. And I'll show a couple of these rigs since we're talking about it here. This one is just the standard rig that I use, like I say, with the 8/0 hook, with the rattle. I already showed that. But this is what we call a double hook rig. And I don't have all the other stuff on it. I would have all the same stuff on it, but it's 2 hooks.
Okay.
And especially in the summertime, a big catfish, a lot of times will want a bigger bait than they do in the wintertime.
Right.
So you're putting on a bigger bait. So you'll double hook it. You'll hook it just like you see when they're doing deep sea fishing.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Put
when
one
I saw
through the
that.
mouth and then one through back dorsal, behind the back dorsal sensor. That way, if it's short hit. So that's a double hook rig. Snare, what we call a knotless snare. It's real easy to tie. You just tie this one on first and then tie this one on, and works out great. So
okay. Got a couple of questions real quick. Taking my nephew for the first time, wants to make sure we catch at least one on Lanier. What do you recommend? Live bait? And if so, or lure, if so, which one? Kayaking around Charleston Park.
Okay.
Kayaking's a little bit different. I mean, I would do more. You think?
There's a lot of guys kayak catfishing. You guys want to see a guy that really knows his stuff? Kayak catfishing on YouTube. He really knows his stuff. But now, once again, he's fishing for bigger stuff. Downsize. I'll tell you what I would do. I would fish with shad, catch some bluegill, cut them up in smaller pieces, by 1.5 to 2 inch pieces. Try those, stuff like that. And there's one other thing, and I've been saving that.
You can wait on that. Now you can wait on that.
Just hang in here. I've got another secret. It's one of the most controversial baits out there. Bob, don't you put it in here, or Woody? Don't, guys that know what I'm probably talking about. Please don't put it in. Don't save the surprise.
Don't, because I learned it earlier today. Yeah. I want to hold on to
controversial bait.
Oh, he's talking about bass.
Oh, he meant bass. Hey, okay. So if you're going to throw for bass right now, we're talking catfish. But hey,
that's great.
If you're going to throw for bass and you want to make sure he catches one, still, you can't go wrong as far as with shad live bait.
Get live bait. Hey, bass love live
bait. If
put
you
it
want
on
to make
float.
sure he catches them.
Yeah.
But if not, this time they're going to be up shallow. Anything from, if you want to use a lure, a lot of guys are catching them on jerk baits. Ned rig is simple, stuff like that. So keep it simple and catch you some of the small stuff.
For a young kid to do.
Right.
Get you some small shad, medium minnows. Go out there with a float around boat houses, boat docks, points, rocks.
Yeah. About 1.5 2 foot leader.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, I used to bass fish a lot.
He did. Absolutely. What's the best for catfish, Carter's or Lanier, those two lakes? If you had to go catch them, which one would you rather catch them on?
I can catch more in Lake Lanier. Since I've learned a lot more, I don't know. Now, Carter's probably has a little better size catfish.
Just like everything else.
But it's a lot harder.
It's deeper. It's a deep lake, ain't it?
It's a lot harder.
Like
but now if I go to Carter's, I'm going to try dragging some. I've learned so much from that.
Exactly.
And
that's awesome.
I'll do that.
There was a question going up real quick to Kobe before we get to these questions. There was one. Kobe wanted to know, do you use cut bait on the double hook rig? Now, your thought, you were saying you use cut bait and you use a whole
skipjack. Yeah.
Skipjack.
Do you want to bring that out?
No, not yet. I'm gonna make
okay.
I'm gonna make them wait till after the singing break there.
Okay.
So it's definitely different. Like I said, I haven't had anybody come in here with.
And I've got different size leads too.
And
there's a lot of different leads that you have. This is what we call coin sinkers. Here's a 6 ounce and a 5 ounce. That's mostly what I use in current because of the current so much. But you can also go with the little pyramids. When I say little, this is
now
a 4
that's
ounce.
what I think of when I go down to the beach and stuff like that.
2 ounce. Here's 4 ounce, 2 ounce. You can do that because it doesn't roll. Or you can even go with the
egg.
What? Okay, so let's say you got a 2 ounce egg sinker and you got a 2 ounce pyramid. What would make you use one over the other?
If I was gonna had to use one over, if I was fishing the side of a ledge and I don't want it to roll, I would use this.
And why is that? What would it just?
Because it would set up on the side a little better. Where this one will roll more.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's gonna roll. That's basically why I like this though. This is my go-to. It doesn't roll. It doesn't, spin. But in a lake, it's not a big deal. It's big a deal. But you got all different sizes of these. You got your little bells. There's all different sizes, and the more you fish, the more you'll decide which way you're going to do. If you're going up the river at Lake Lanier, where there's a little current, and you trying to fan your rods out and catch the flats and on the edge and down in there, then you're going to want something that won't roll as much and you'll have it more heavier just because there's still a little current in there.
Okay. So let's say you're at Lake Lanier. The majority of the catfish you're going to catch are going to probably be channel. Correct?
That and flatheads. Mostly.
That and flatheads.
Yes.
And the occasional blue. Yeah. That's not the prevalent species.
There's very few blues in there. In fact, when I was catching, people were telling me that's not a blue, that's a channel. And I finally got a nice one where they could see it better. And they're like, oh, there is blue in it.
There's a blue.
And I got to argue with that to where I wouldn't even, I'm the guy, I just don't respond when somebody's trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or I'll say, you're probably right.
You're probably right. I got you. I got you. Now,
because I don't know everything.
Danny, the bass guys need to bring their stuff like this. That might help us to see more exactly what they're talking about. Hey, listen, absolutely. Listen, he said he was going to bring some stuff. I said, sure. I had no idea. And I'm pleasantly surprised at all the stuff he brought. But you're absolutely right. He is setting a standard for these bass guys that they've got. That whopper plopper don't count, dude.
I brought you a whopper plopper.
God, I ought to kick you. But anyway, all right. So how about Allatoona? You fish Allatoona?
Yeah, Allatoona is another hard place for catfish. There's not a whole lot. Once again, around Knox Bridge, stuff like that, a lot of channels in there.
A lot of channels.
Some flats.
No blue?
Not that I've found.
Okay.
Not that I found. And there's probably some.
But
there was piranha caught out there at one time, I think, wasn't there?
True. That's
so,
true.
Anything's possible. Come on, man.
That is. And it is awesome, Michael, what he's showing too. So I definitely do like this. And just, we're gonna bring out some bait here. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead. We'll sing later because this guy's giving such good stuff, and I know you're not looking forward to singing. So we'll do that. We'll make everybody hold on. Bring out the bait, guys. Listen, and we can go ahead with the controversy. We'll just cover the whole thing, and then because everything's rolling right now.
Guys, I put this down because
this is pretty cool.
This is going to be bait that we actually use. That's cut bait.
I love this. Listen, you got to eat a piece of it.
I'm not eating nothing.
Yes, you are.
You've lost.
All right,
I
this
ain't
is,
eating.
Look at this.
I ain't eating that.
Let's see if I can get my knife and open
Oh, you're really going to open this thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't call bass.
guys, you
smaller
want this
than
opened
that.
up? You want to see what it looks like, right? You don't want to sit.
I
here
mean,
and
that's
try
a
to figure
14,
out what it-
15-inch fish, ain't it?
Yeah, it's called a skipjack. Just caught
I've
it
weighed in
last
fish.
week.
I've weighed in fish smaller than that.
That's what I'm saying.
See, I'm telling you. So I say, you guys fish for what we fish with.
You wouldn't take a bite of that if you eat sushi?
No, I ain't
All right.
eating.
Don't
no
waste the bait,
skipjack.
Bobcat says. Don't waste the bait.
Hey, Bob, it's going back to the house, and it's not totally thought out. Just enough to go in there. Me
Look
and
at this.
Bobcat fish for bait all the time.
Where do you
The
catch
nubble-
these things?
All right, this is called a skipjack. That would say, what do you say? It's
And
about
this is
12
not a
inches long?
Jeremiah Giles swim bait. This is a real fish that he's got right
It's
here.
pushing 14.
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
That's
Now,
almost
what
a
we'll
keeper
do
on-
is we'll cut this fish up into sections,
Yes.
like a head sections, and most time, unless it's a time of year when they're really wanting a big bait, this is probably 3 pieces of bait.
Okay. All right. Has there ever been a chance where you just hook that joker up and
We cut them here. Don't go away from home without your bait knife.
okay?
Cut them here. You probably don't want that done on.
No,
TV.
go ahead. You'll cut that joker.
Okay.
Move it to your left just a little bit this way so they can see what you're getting into.
Okay.
Back towards the microphone. I'm sorry. Your other left.
All right. The other left.
The other left. Back this way. This way.
All right.
This way. This way. A little more. A little more. A little more. There you
That got it?
go.
All right.
Look at that.
Skipjack.
What kind of knife you got right there,
Almighty.
buddy? That's pretty
Is that a
good.
That
Bubba
is. You can get this at Walmart. It's actually it's Cuda that makes them. They're really nice German
Supply-
steel stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
I
pliers
mean,
I use.
yeah, you didn't.
Yeah,
Just,
the pliers. Those
pliers
nice
are
stuff.
great.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
They make nice stuff. But anyway, this is the
catfish
size.
crack.
Catfish crack, right? Exactly. This
you
is
go.
catfish candy right here. This is the size I'm going to use.
You're gonna hook that
Yes,
whole head on
Yes,
there.
sir.
Okay.
All the time.
Jesus.
And then if they're wanting a big piece, I'm going to take. I'll show you how we do.
I am
this.
glad you brought a towel though, buddy. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
didn't
good.
want to mess up the table. Hey, guys, I told you I'm a big organized guy.
You are an organized guy.
Now, when I'm using a
My
double hook
God,
rig,
what a hook! I mean, knife. The way you're doing that,
Yeah.
just slicing right through there.
yeah, I use
Piece
it. I
of
keep showing.
bait. What are
Now,
you
this
talking
is
about
what
the
I'll
knife?
use if and we'll use a double hook rig on something like
That's
this.
what you would do that other one on.
yeah.
Now, how would you hook it? You don't have to show us. But would you hook it to the top, kind of, sort of?
Yeah. Well, usually if I'm going to use a big one,
Yeah.
I'm going to use the head and cut it back in here, and I'm going to hook one through the mouth, through the nostril,
Yeah.
and then one back here where the dorsal fin, about back behind the dorsal
Now,
fin.
honestly, how much you reckon that thing weighs right there? That piece of meat
That's
right
probably close to a half
there?
pound.
half
there.
pound. And
Yeah.
you're now. Are you throwing? Are you casting that?
Yes,
or are
sir.
you just dropping it?
Casting it.
So you're
That thing's
that's a
about
half a
mile,
pound.
ain't
You
it?
got a 10-pound weight. And so you're
Actually, it
chucking
doesn't
that
cast
thing.
as much because it just loads the rod up. So, but
Really?
now let me just put it this way. Now, guys
That's
that
right,
will
Ron, I
fish
do.
with the monster rods
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Now, those rods will throw better because they're stiffer. I don't fish with a stiff rod because I had cancer and I had it was in my back and all. And I
Really?
I had
Okay, that's
lymphoma cancer
All
at one
right.
time. And
How we doing? We doing? We
great. Made it through
Absolutely.
it. Yep. Stem cell
Absolutely. That's
transplant,
awesome.
everything. Good
Great.
Lord, let me live.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Right there.
And
Good for you.
so, thank you, Lord.
Yep.
And so, the ugly stick has a lot more flex in it, and to me, it's got a more cushion, sort of like a shock absorber.
It loads a little bit
Yeah, and,
easier.
and so it's not just that hard straight pull. I give away some because the stiffer rods will throw a little better,
Right.
But if you're reading your electronics
Right.
and you're in a boat, you shouldn't have to throw 3 football fields to get to where the fish is. The way I look at it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Absolutely, Bobcat Outdoors. Absolutely, buddy.
What'd he say?
Praise God.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So, you shouldn't have to throw 300 feet, 400 feet. My thing is, I fan fish in a spot where I'm throwing 2 rods out, probably 100, 125 feet. I'm throwing another couple rods around 75 feet, and then I'm throwing another couple rods around 25 to 35 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Almost
And
like crappy spider rigs.
yeah,
Just kind of
sorta.
fan casting.
And then I
kinda
may
out there.
drop 2 right beside the boat. Yeah. I mean,
I got
because
you.
I'm just sorry, but I don't trust myself with electronics to know that I'm exactly 23 and a half feet from that fish,
Yeah.
And I know electronics are good, and you can, you're within 3 or 4 feet, but
They're not exact.
I seen a guy.
But ain't
I
that
feel
awesome?
like
Though?
that.
I just
That is
love the fact
awesome.
that you use electronics, and
Yeah,
that's all we talk about with bass guys.
yeah.
And
I love my
and we bring a
electronics.
catfish guy on, and it's electronics, just
Yeah,
to say. Because
right.
actually, there's a question right there. How are you using electronics to find catfish?
Basically, a lot like you do for bass. I mean, you're looking up through there, except for you're looking for stuff that's right down at the bottom most of the time.
So you're not
and it's
you're not
it's
looking
bigger,
for bait.
you know.
You're not going
It's
around
denser too,
Yeah.
you know.
You're not necessarily going around looking for a school of shad or a
Oh no,
swiftwood
yeah.
back
Because
or-
if I find shad, it's just like bass.
Do
I
you-
mean,
They're gonna be there.
Do you
yeah.
use those
Okay.
baits frozen, or do you let them thaw?
What are they when I get there? It's the way I use them. If they're frozen, the water's going to thaw them out. I'm cutting them. They cut a lot easier froze too. If
I
it's
noticed.
froze, I'll cut it and throw it out. If it's not froze, I cut it up. You know, it doesn't matter to me because it's going to thaw. You know, a lot of it is catfish go on smell too. And so, you know,
as it thaws out,
sometimes
it releases
yeah,
some kind of
it'll
scent.
start going down,
Mhm.
you know, down the river and they'll follow it back.
Kind of like
So,
a time release.
Yeah.
Now, seriously, with this, when a man is using, or man, listen to me, when a bass fisherman person, or there's women that fish.
Fisher
Let's
person.
make sure we cover everybody. When they're looking, we're looking on the bottom.
yes.
We're looking for structure. We're looking for this. Is there something that is a telltale
Wow.
sign to you that that's cats? Is there
There's
some-
more a lot of times, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be more to me. Now, this is me.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I
Yeah,
don't
from your experience.
I won't show myself on graph because I don't think I figure a lot of times I may say this is something and somebody go, no, that's not this. So I don't trust myself. I'm very critical of my own self.
But
I
you
don't
have found
trust my own
yourself
self.
successful though in what you're doing.
But I'll see something that's down there and I'll use my down imaging and my graph at the same time because that might be a stump down there, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll look at it, and if you can see that, and if it's denser, like
You see a
yellow
thick
and
arch?
red, the
A
thicker,
arch.
right, the thicker, then I know that it's something pretty good, you know.
Do you ever chum the water to bring them in?
I don't.
Okay.
But myself and I think Bob Britt, we're both talking about you could do that.
Okay. All right.
You could like Bob does a lot of crappie fishing. He can take and use the skeletons and the heads and put them in a bag and hang them over side, and it would help. I would think. I mean, it's scent.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Okay. So again,
I
like I said,
haven't,
we're
but
learning
I'm not
with
saying.
this.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to fish. If it worked for you, do it, guys.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I think we're going to do this instead of singing tonight. And I know everybody likes the singing, and it's
Thank
funny
God.
and all. But this is such a good
I'm a country boy.
conversation. This is such a good conversation that I don't want to stop and take away from what we're learning because we're halfway through the baits. But let's go ahead and we'll do a question of the night tonight. And what I will do, unfortunately for you catfish guys, I don't have any catfish stuff here, but for anybody that answers the question correctly, we will be sending you some trickster baits. All right. So some of the different plastic worms and stuff like that they've got out. So here's what I want you to do. Earlier in this episode, he held up 2 reels. Okay. And you got to help me find the first person to get this right. So,
Okay.
Paul, I know I'm deviating just a little bit, buddy, but this is just too good to mess it up with a song right now. What was the second brand of reel that he uses more in current?
It was on the rod.
It was on the ugly stick rod, and it was black in color. He mentioned the brand.
Brand model too.
Well, I don't know about the
Yeah,
model.
let's just go
because-
with the
let's go
brand.
with the
Oh,
brand because
yeah.
you're really being tough on him tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, Cooper McDonald. There you go.
Okay.
Okuma.
Well, which one was first, Lloyd
Uh,
Dog or Cooper?
I don't know. They came in there.
They came.
Oh, no.
Oh,
That's why I
Lord.
said the
Okay,
model,
listen,
too.
guys. All right, listen. All right, so listen. Here's the problem with this. Here's the problem with this platform that we're using. YouTube guys come in faster than Facebook guys. And again, guys, it's easier to watch on YouTube if you want to get the question right. All right, so listen, there's about 50 of you just went in real crazy. So let's try this again. I am so sorry, but I'm not sending every daggone one of you.
Cheapo.
I am a cheapo. All right. So
We'll send them some skipjack.
let's do this.
Hey,
Let's do this.
That's what I'm making the
All
man.
right. I tell you what, I'm gonna let you. You know what you've
Don't
talked
make
about.
me a bad guy.
You know what you've talked about.
Right.
My goodness, boy, they all come in quick, didn't they?
Yeah,
right
they
there?
did. They just keep
You guys are
rolling
paying
in.
attention, and it's
You
not
know what?
possible. Do you have a question that you can answer?
Yes,
A
I got a
number
question because I'm about to reveal it anyway.
two. Yeah.
If you're a real catfish guy, you're going to know this answer.
Uh-oh.
What is?
Here we go. We'll
You
just do
guys
this,
get
guys.
ready.
This is all on him now, so it's not on me.
This is the most controversial bait there is. What's the most controversial bait in catfishing?
Yeah, I know, but I'm,
But you knew the from.
but I will tell you this: not spotted bass. No, but that is a dang good answer. And here's what's pretty cool.
They will
about
catch
this.
catfish.
Chicken liver, no, that's not controversial.
Close.
Everybody uses that. Trout, no. And here's the cool thing: is you guys ain't gonna get this answer because I would not crap.
No, Bobcat.
I would have never in my life guessed. We might have to answer a third question.
Come on,
tonight.
Bobcat. You know. Sure, you hadn't seen it.
If you answer right, I'm gonna punch you in the forehead. But go ahead.
I'm not answering that.
That's right, because you know what it is, don't
I
you?
know exactly.
Not
what it is.
so-
Soap is used, though. That is a
Hey,
bait.
crank telephone. Listen, my grandfather
No.
had one of those.
Yeah.
My grandpa had one of those. Another catfish. No, this is great. Okay, so listen. All right, so we're gonna have to go with question number 3,
Okay.
and we're a kilo of cocaine on a hook. No,
that's called skipjack.
no, that's skipjack and
that
stink
costs
bait.
a lot of money.
Listen, and yeah, I don't know what you're going for. Well, here's what's pretty cool is none of you, when he says this answer here after this question, you guys are gonna go, what? Because I promise you, when he told me, I was like, no way. So how about this?
What I'm looking
How about
at.
this? Does anybody know how old I am? Today's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
67.
Shut up.
Lord.
I ought to kick you right in the. Here,
got you
all right, guys,
Social
real
Security check,
quick.
didn't you?
Listen, here we go. First one to get this answer. Paul, you're watching? Are you watching? So the first one that Paul sees went. Jeremiah Giles nailed it. Boom. 49.
Eric's got
Oh,
it.
no,
Eric Thurman's got it.
Thurman.
49. Okay, so there you go. I am 49 years young today. So Eric Thurman, all of that, we're gonna send Eric Thurman some stuff. All right. So Eric, send me your address. Guys, listen, I appreciate you. I wasn't prepared. We were gonna have a song, but I think we're gonna save it for Blake on Thursday night.
God.
Again, guys, if you're, and I know tonight we're doing a little bit different. We're talking about catfishing, but Thursday night, if you're a turkey hunter, Fish North Georgia is going to switch to Hunt North Georgia for one night only this Thursday night. And we're going to talk turkey hunting because turkey season opened up here in Georgia this past Saturday. A lot of guys have been out on birds. There's been a lot of kills. I know that's not for everybody, but a lot of people enjoy doing it. And I will tell you, that's one of the most interesting things that can ever happen in the woods is to hear a mature gobbler. And you're a deer hunter.
yeah.
I love deer hunting. You turkey hunt as well?
I don't turkey hunt. I love deer hunting.
I love deer hunting, but we're going to cover the deer hunting too as we come. We're going to get into a podcast that's going to we are eventually going to have a Hunt North Georgia program. It is coming, but we're going to ease our way into it. So again, Thursday night, 8:00, all of your hunting buddies, and even if you're not, here's what's going to be cool. Blake and them, there's going to be a couple guys. They're bringing in these custom calls and everything. It's going to be interesting enough just to listen to these guys talk turkey. And I know you think that's crazy, but until you hear a real person that knows what they're doing with it, it's absolutely amazing. And if you ever get a chance to be out in the woods to listen to a mature gobbler, and what's cool about turkey hunting is you're trying to reverse nature because that gobble is supposed to attract the hen to the gobble. And you're hitting hen calls and stuff. You're trying to make a grown turkey do something different.
Right.
So these guys that are good at it are amazing, and I'm not. I love deer hunting. I've killed a couple of
turkey
turkeys.
hunting. I'm gonna holler, get over here.
Get over here.
That's the best I can do.
But we're going with some high end calls. I know Blake had one here yesterday in the shop. That was a neck call. It was some kind of that. It was $200 something. But boy, to listen to him, he sounded just like a turkey. So that's Thursday night, 8:00. So again, guys, we'll sing then. The secret bait is not a disco rat. Spro makes this rat. Topwater bait.
Rat is awesome.
Listen, it's lavender purple, chartreuse. Looks like I always say it's the 5 Points rat because it looks like it come from downtown Atlanta.
There you go.
And it is the ugliest.
The
looking
ghetto
bait.
rat.
The ghetto rat. It's awful.
Does it wear its pants around its knees?
Listen, I don't know what it does. It's crazy. It's ugly. So anyway, but that's going to be Thursday night. So anyway, now let's get back onto this. You've got another bait pulled out. Yes. This is your second bait. So let's just keep going.
This is actually a multitude.
Thank you guys for playing.
Yeah, this is actually a multitude. Skipjack, I would say, is the best bait in the summertime, fall, and winter.
Is it the stinkiest bait or the most oily?
It's most bloody and oily.
Gotcha.
Plus, it's prevalent at those times. In the wintertime, it's not so prevalent out on the river and stuff. So what we do is I bait fish before I go catfishing most of the time.
Right.
I hate bait fishing. I am the worst at it, and I hate it. But it has to be done. You drive an hour and a half to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Before you can go catfishing, you got to go bait fishing.
Even in the winter.
Yeah, because especially when they really like the bait to be fresh.
Okay.
So this is what we do, and I caught these all last week. That's a perch from Tennessee River.
Yellow perch.
Yellow perch. They like that.
Man's got live fish, and I mean, not
caught
live,
all these like
real fish.
Those ain't live.
They ain't live, but they're real.
Caught a large shiner last week, and then bluegill. I caught a 56-pound blue cat, my largest blue cat.
Look at the
on a
slime
bluegill.
on all that. I love it.
Mighty.
I hope
Look
the ladies aren't out there all upset, but
They ain't got to clean it up. It's
a
fine.
huge,
Yeah.
56-pound, and then my buddy Woody caught the same day a 55-pound, and they were all caught on bluegill.
Now that is pretty good sized bluegill.
Yeah, now we'll
That's a
cut
big
that
old
up.
bluegill.
Now, see, here's what I'm curious. Do you ever take a 4-inch, 5-inch bluegill and just stick it and just throw it like we would for a bass fish? That's a high bass fish.
Yeah. And I may take and do this if I fish with him and he doesn't get hit alive and he's died out there, I'll take my fillet knife and I'll come back here and I'll actually cut him to where the blood
Just
and the
bleed a little bit.
Yeah, to cut him on both sides, and we call that sort of a flapper, where that's in the water and emitting more scent out like that.
Now, will this because Port Taco, who is one of our favorites here at Fish North Georgia. Again, guys, go to Adventures of Port Taco too. He's on now. Good Lord, Taco's showing up everywhere. He's got an Instagram, all that kind of stuff.
He got stickers now.
He's got stickers and
I'm excited
everything.
to put that sticker on my boat when I get to the
Port
house.
Taco he's big time, and he's going to be bigger than all of us one day. But he fishes a lot of places like Yahula, smaller rivers, stuff like that. Can this same technique work in a reservoir, stuff like that?
It'll work anywhere.
Because
they eat fish.
See, that's the thing is that I go to, again, and this is going back to being a traditionalist. If I go to one of these lakes, I go to Daggum Ingles, I buy some chicken liver, but I do not go catch brim, and I don't throw live brim on the bottom. Or I don't,
That's why you're not catching big catfish.
Very good point. Very good. And that's it.
How many chickens do you see running around on Lake Lanier?
None.
There you go.
Every once in a while, you might see one up on the bank.
I love it. This is what I'm loving. So this is awesome. There you go.
Hey, and by the way, if you want to put a sticker on something, there you go.
Oh yeah,
give you a couple of
I'll
trophy seeker stickers.
Look at this
I'll put
right
that
here
on my boat as soon as I get home.
Trophy seeker right there. Big old ugly nasty catfish on there.
My buddy Bob Britt does that. He owns he does t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. Horizon, I think it is Horizon.
Where's he out of?
Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that's where he lives. But
this is
if anybody ever wants, as the young people say, swag out there, t-shirts, hoodies, anything like that, he's really
swag.
good.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's the young.
Listen, there's a lot of listen to young people. Catfishing is not what we're talking about tonight. You know,
there's a lot of young people out there that you wouldn't believe that.
I know it, but catfishing
that's younger than me. That
go to Google like I did because I wanted to learn some stuff and put catfishing in. You know what it is, right? It's fake profile on.
Well, I learned that. Yeah. Look, I'm an old, like I say, 57-year-old guy. I'm like, what the heck is this got to do with catfishing?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
TV show about it.
And
it's a whole show.
And it's like
nothing but that.
Oh, so is Bobcat Outdoors? This is his company.
Yes, Bob. What's the name of your company?
He's a Horizon Graphics.
There you go.
And I need to get in touch with you, big dog, right there. So they're out there doing yoga on Saturday at Latham. Listen, I can't go. My wife already knows about the yoga on Latham, so I can't go fishing on Saturdays. Don't need to be around it. But here's
you can borrow my trolling motor.
Where you trolling motor? No, I'm not going near the women doing yoga on Latham. But this is a very cool looking thing. I have no idea what I was getting ready to say before I saw that thing about the yoga on Latham, but I had a comment. It'll come back to me. But again, so Horizon Graphics, if you guys are in the Chattanooga area, this is a pretty cool sticker, and everybody there's something about fishermen.
Right.
My goodness, they love stickers.
Yeah.
They love it. We're going to put this on our door if you don't mind.
That's great.
And again, this is Trophy. Thank you very much. Trophy Seekers Outdoors. Again, go to YouTube, give him a follow. What's up, Brian Stradley? He's just getting started, about 6 weeks into videos.
We hit 100 subscribers today.
That's right. So what we want to do is this.
101.
We will subscribe. We want to get this guy to 1,000. Okay,
Please.
so
Let's
we want to
get
get
it
this guy to
up
1,000 because they put the work in, and I know it is a mental thing on YouTube when you start a channel, and everybody says, "Well, 1,000, you can start monetizing,"
Right.
and that's true. But you're not going to make a lot of money.
No.
But it's still a mental. Hey,
Yes.
can I? Your first 100, your first 500, your first 1,000. These are all benchmarks in your
Right.
growth as a channel. And anybody out there that's got a YouTube channel knows what I'm talking about. And it's a pretty cool thing. But if you're going to put the work in, let's support him. Again, Trophy Seeker Outdoors on YouTube and Facebook. Give him a follow on Facebook too.
Thank you, guys.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's get back now. So with the bluegill
Right.
and the skipjack. Before we get to the others, I want to ask this question. Guys, I got really nasty frozen fish right here. I love this. Is great. Smells like we're talking about fishing.
That's
in here.
right.
It does.
It
I
is
go
beautiful.
home. My wife knows I've been fishing when I do this.
There you
She's
go.
not wondering
See?
if I went
That's
somewhere
right.
else.
That's exactly right.
So
You
you're
can't
telling me I
hide
need to go-
stank.
I need to go catch.
And I've got 12 hours. I have 12 hours of video to edit.
This is good.
That's the word. You know,
steak
making
right
a
there.
video is easy because you just set the cameras up and you film and you talk about what's going on.
That's right.
That's
Danny
easy
Fowler.
for me. The
That's right.
hardest part is the editing.
Boy, listen,
I'm
and that's
good.
where
break it all down
listen,
to what,
Yes,
like
sir.
a
I'm not. I
10-minute,
know.
20-minute video.
Absolutely. I know we're getting a
That's
little off track here,
hard.
but that's where it pays when your partner is a professional cinematographer
Yeah.
who edits movies in Hollywood for a living and
Cool.
TV shows.
Yeah.
But to watch people that
You think
actually
he'd do
benefit-
mine for a sticker?
No.
Just saying. Okay.
Listen,
We'll trade Josh
listen,
a sticker.
Actually, listen, I heard a conference call, and I'm not going to say it because Josh will kill me, but I heard a conference call today. I know what them guys are charging by the day and all that. We don't want to talk
Yeah,
about
we're not talking about
We're not talking about that. So
Good thing he's your partner, right?
it's a beautiful thing. He's my partner. Lord blessed me with that right there. So, but then you guys keep working on your craft though with these videos because it is, listen, good content is what people watch.
Yes.
Good content. If you're going to ever do a podcast or something like that, invest in good microphones, invest in cameras, invest in good everything. You'll get what you pay for.
Find your niche.
Find your
and
niche.
be yourself.
Have you ever
Don't-
fished a river in South Georgia that is famous for the big cats? I can't the Altahama, whatever the heck it is. Yeah, he can't say it starts with A.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
Is
Yeah,
it the
and-
Altamaha?
and that's
Can you
got
say it?
some nice.
What did I
fish
say?
in
Did I
it.
say it right?
Yeah,
I don't know. You've
Yeah,
said it four
you got
different
it.
ways.
Altamaha?
yeah,
There you go. Listen,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
got some-
educated, but
that's got some huge catfish in it.
Now, is
That's
it-
where the record fish, the record blue and flathead.
that's what I was
for
going to say.
comes
We're
from there.
talking more blue flathead down that
yes,
way.
big cat.
If you
That's
had,
the sad thing. You would think up in
Yes.
here we would have big fish because they're up in Tennessee.
right.
But it's not
We're-
that
we're
way.
in like a
Down,
dead
down
zone.
south, Georgia, further south, Oconee and
Mhm.
like that have big catfish.
Do you find more the larger catfish in current or in the reservoirs?
Both. They're both places. And
So
my
it's just
biggest
wherever.
catfish was up on the lake above the as far as flathead was above, which was 72 pounds. The state record is 84 and so many ounces. So and this sounds like a lot, but I was only a little over 12 pounds off the state record. And it's
Flathead?
like, yes.
That's a big old fish.
Yeah.
It's a
So
monster.
even though 12 pounds is a
Yeah.
lot, that's pretty
That's
close when
close
you're talking
to the
72
state
and
That's, what I said.
84.
That's no
Yeah.
more than like the state record spot or whatever. Just say whatever it was. If it was 9 pounds and you caught 8 pounder, you're
Right.
close.
Right.
You're a pound
You're-
off,
you're
but that's
pretty-
close.
Yeah.
You're getting into that territory.
Yes,
That
yes.
right there.
Whatever happened
then
with that?
With what?
The spot on Lanier.
Oh, I have no
Everybody was
idea.
talking about.
I have no idea. I got the
somebody
video.
supposed to caught a big one and
I
never
got
heard
the
anything
video.
about
I got
that.
the video upstairs. I'll show you
So,
when we're over here.
Anyway, and then below, my big one is a 56 blue, but like I say, Chat Cats, Joe Jelston, he's caught a 92 blue. The state record up there for that's like 114.
Why do
So-
you think the cats are smaller around here in this area of North Georgia as opposed to Tennessee? They're
I don't
large.
know.
South Georgia, they're
I don't
large.
know.
Because there's a
We're
lot
in a
of. I mean,
dead
if you
zone.
get on Lanier, there's plenty of bait.
Yeah, there's all kind of bait. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean,
You ever
And I
hear
don't
them
know.
goofy stories of the big ones at the dam, biggest Volkswagen?
biggest Volkswagen.
Biggest
Oh,
Volkswagen.
They're
I have
there
heard
at
that.
Carter's. If I could just
Oh.
get down to them, they're at Carter's.
Yes.
They're Lanier. They're out.
I have heard that my entire life.
Big enough to swallow a man.
Yeah.
We sent divers down there and they saw biggest cars and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
People
It-
throwing out winches with full whole chickens.
Whole
and stuff
chickens.
like
It is
that.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. Now that's a perfect. That are they more pressured up here in this area? I wouldn't think so. Would you?
I just don't know if they just didn't get the genetics that, maybe they didn't put the same fish or I don't know. I'd really like to know. I'd like to ask somebody from the DNR if what it is, because it's like this one strip where there's not a lot of big one. You get below Atlanta, down further south, they're bigger,
right.
and you get up. Once you pass the Georgia line, it's like, oh, we're going to grow big up here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great comments coming in, guys. Keep them coming in. Ron Swim for pollution keeps them from getting that as big. That's possible. The environment, absolutely. Not a lot of current. They got to work harder to eat more. That's possible. And again, it just might be the environment is perfectly set up. Some lakes are more set up to catch trophy fish than others. Some rivers are just perfect.
I mean, I've fished all the Lake Notley. They don't have those huge fish. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's hard to catch
one
them.
thing I had never caught out of Notley.
Yeah. Now you can get up around.
A catfish out of Notley.
Have you not? Okay.
A lot.
There's some in there. My buddy Ricky has caught them. But you get up around Rome, and you can up there you can start catching some bigger blues and
in
stuff
the Coosa there. Once it turns
yeah.
into the Coosa and stuff.
Going into Lake Wise and all, it's like they're starting to get bigger there.
We fished a bass tournament up there last year, and where I was at, I went out of Brushy Branch, went into the Coosa, but I watched the boat kind of parked in a corner, like in a bend in the river.
Right.
And I watched some guys, and they were live bait fishing or something down whatever it was, and they were just nailing catfish.
Yeah.
And you could tell they were on a spot. I don't know about the electronics and all that, but that was they knew what they were doing. Yeah. And they caught some nice fish while I was getting skunked in a bass tournament. So,
well, I mean, that's
is current better when the current kicks? So like, let me ask you this real quick, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but bass fishing in the Coosa, a lot of people that bass fish tournaments up there know that it can be really slow, and all of a sudden that release from the dam at Allatoona finally catches up there to the Coosa, and the current flows, and then bass kick on. Same for catfish.
Yes. Same thing.
All right.
I would rather fish in 40,000 CFM coming out of the Chickamauga Dam as 10 to 20,000 all day long.
So that Coosa just fires,
especially in the summertime.
Coosa, that current.
Yes. Yeah. That Coosa current. Yeah. That's it. But but it's the same thing. The seams. If you catch you've got a slow spot here where it's slower, and then that seam where it's fishing that seam. It's the same thing with bass fishing, or anything else. They like that seam. It's like, because I think that bait has to get out of that fast water sometimes, and they catch them coming out of that seam. The jetties up there. I mean,
that's one thing I've noticed with the bass is they'll get behind every single jetty.
It's what's amazing is that there's a lot more similarity than there is that people are. Give it credit. It's pretty awesome. That's from tonight. That's going to be my biggest takeaway. What you talking?
I want to know what the limestone, like Philip Hutchinson's talking about,
because the Coosa flows over limestone. Right now, he talked about that. You may not have watched the episode with Phil, but he's like he's a bearded Einstein, real smart fellow. Does a lot of he fishes the Chattahoochee for trophy trout, but he uses like bass equipment, stuff like that. So but he's very smart. And he mentioned limestone when we were talking about Allatoona, those kind of things. So I'm sure Philip is going to if you don't mind, Philip, in our comments, could you please tell us what limestone rock does for the fishing? Is Ralph Barbie still considered the catfish king of Georgia, or do you know who that is?
I've heard of him, but I don't know, because like I say, I've only been trophies and YouTube. Like I say, I'm the old guy. I just got into watching YouTube stuff.
Boy, you and me
over the
both,
last
buddy.
year. So,
absolutely.
You younger guys has got it on us.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, my son is 19, could launch a nuke from North Korea. I'm lucky
in his sleep
with his phone. Yeah, and I'm like, okay. So limestone has calcium and magnesium, which helps aquatic bugs and bait fish grow with ease and in plentiful numbers. And okay, so environment.
So limestone helps bait.
Help bait. It starts on that
bait size.
And I'll tell you another thing that can make a difference. Tennessee has a slot limit.
Oh,
after 33 inches, you can only keep one. It goes back to what we call CPR: catch, picture, and release. If I was going to keep a fish to eat, it would not be one of these giants, because they have the genetics.
First of all, they're tough, though. Are they not really just tough meat compared to?
I don't know. My wife won't let me eat one.
That's right. You're Captain D's like me. Never mind. There we go.
It's like I'm 6'4", 280 pounds, and you're what?
5'8". 150.
150. I grew bigger than you. So, in the catfish world, I'm probably going to have bigger baby fish than you're going. You know what I'm saying? It's genetics,
right.
Yeah.
So if that
So
fish got big, you're going to get eat, brother.
You are going to get eaten.
You're going under.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, the same way, you want to throw those bigger fish back where they can breed and have more fish where you have the bigger fish. And up in Tennessee, you have a slot limit. You only get one fish a day that's over 33 inches. I love that.
Kind of like a deer.
I wish they'd do that here in Georgia and probably not go as high as 33 right now.
Right.
You could start lower and then go up.
I agree, because the reality is, if you catch, to me, and I've eaten enough catfish to know, you get a 1 pound, 2 pound catfish. That's about prime.
Yeah.
That's prime meat for catfish. That is your perfect. That's, you deer hunt, all this stuff, and certain deer. You get an old buck. That meat just does not taste as good as. So a doe is the perfect size, younger doe, but that's the perfect.
Doe. Right.
So let them go. But what's interesting, would you do that for all fish, or just? I mean, seriously, all fish?
Yeah. Well, I think so. Crappie up there, crappie, however you want to say it.
It is crappie.
Crappie.
There we go.
There
crappie.
You go.
Crappie.
10-inch. They have a 10-inch slot limit up there.
How many can you keep over 10 inches?
Oh, now see, you wanted me to get technical.
But just curious.
I don't remember. Just
but there is. You can only keep
it's not
so
a
many.
large. It's not a large amount, but so many of
It's
them.
like you can keep like 50 here a day.
Yeah. You keep, and I don't.
I filled
as far as I know,
up with them in a
as
day,
far as I know, there's not a slot limit on them
no,
either.
I don't think there's a limit on them.
In Georgia,
yeah, you can.
There's not a slot. I think that is it 30 a day.
30 an angler per day.
Okay,
Well,
30 an angler per day.
I broke the law.
Right.
Your judgment on length. But
Right.
would you like to see on any and all species? Hey, listen, after what we would consider a trophy, whoever comes up, you can only keep X amount.
Could you imagine? Let's do this for 10 years, and the young kids that go out and hook into something, and just see the smile on their face for catching that fish, where they may go till they're older and never catch that big trophy, and they turn off against fishing because of that. But if you have a slot limit, you get them hooked young, and you get them out all this other stuff.
I like that idea.
You
The only problem with that is you got a lot of people you got to change their opinions on that.
Exactly.
But I do like
you had
that.
to change it in deer hunting. Everybody poached. Everybody wanted, but now look at the percentage of people now that'll let deer walk, and the quality
of deer.
Yeah. I've
increased.
I'm Trophy Seekers Outdoors because I'm going to be doing deer hunting videos too.
Oh, you really? Okay, good. So you'll come back on Hunt North Georgia. You'll come back with that?
I work.
You're close.
I hunt in Warrenton, Georgia.
Okay, I'm in Wilkes. That goes perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I've got 200 acres of land. We've been managing.
There you go.
We've been managing for really hard for the last 6 years, and we went from having 4 points to beautiful 10 points.
I like it. Okay, all right.
And it's because we have a slot limit on deer now. And I
Okay.
really think that it
That's
would
why you
help
go to
with
those-
fish in Georgia.
You go to those counties like what's some of the counties? Not Taliaferro, but like Macon County.
Yeah.
Or like
They
Greene
have
County, that
Dooley
have
and
like
all
they
that,
Have
yeah.
four on one side and
Yes.
15 inches wide.
Hancock County.
Hancock County.
Hancock.
You go
That's
to those
right. That's
trophy
right.
counties and you start seeing deer
Yeah.
like you've never seen.
But here's
outside
what
of
you
those
here's
trophy
what you,
counties.
I'm whistling through my teeth. It's been a long day, but here's what you're going to have with that. So we can bring in the deer hunting and the fishing cap all together. You're always going to have that camp that says, you know what? It's not about you just trophy hunters.
Mhm.
It's about us that want
Yeah.
we legally can shoot that deer and all that. So at some point you've got to find that communication
Happy
between
medium,
them. So I mean,
my thing with the deer has always been if you want to shoot something for the meat, I feel like you're just like you. The
You can't eat
meat's
the
better
horn.
out of a doe. You can't
and
eat
I
the
agree.
horns.
I agree. But what about the gentleman who has hunted this entire year? You're down to December, and the first thing he sees is a spiked deer, but he wants to feed his family with that. So do you blame him for taking the spiked deer?
You
Or do you tell him to be a better hunter?
I mean,
yeah, it could be the area too, but if
Right.
it's so, then we've got to be stricter on the
Deer management, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. There is a
Yeah.
lot of opinions, and we're getting, I'm sure, with all of these
Right.
slot limits, antler limits. We'll
Yeah.
get in there with it. So
like
it's
Philip Hutchinson
it's
said,
great.
You go into areas like that where nobody hunts.
oh,
Yeah.
listen,
You see
I
guys-
Well, you know
all
why I
day
only
long.
seen that spike a lot of times? Because
Because-
people poach and kill out all the deer in there.
That's exactly right. Philip, I used to get to hunt down in Roswell in some places. It is unbelievable what a suburban deer in Metro Atlanta can grow to.
Yeah. Dawson
yeah.
Forest is the same thing.
Exactly.
you
But I
saw
will
the
say
one I was
this.
hunting last year.
Yeah,
Guy
but I-
across the street shot it.
yeah, but
150-inch
I'll
buck.
say
Yeah.
this. I still, and this is just this, and we'll get back to fishing. I have more respect though for a guy that can kill the 160-inch deer out in the middle of 1,000 or 2,000 acre, plot
Right.
of woods down South Georgia than one that can shoot one with a bow on 10 acres in suburban. To me,
It's got its
but let me
challenges.
say
they
this
both
too.
got their
Yeah.
challenges,
Yeah,
but
let me
I think it's different.
Because I know people that do that.
Yeah.
It's hard because even those deer, when they're going into that, they know that woods like the back of their hand.
Absolutely.
If something
They know
is out of
something's
place,
different.
right? If something's you throw corn out there, they know something's
yeah.
going on. Why did that corn just didn't
that
jump out
buck's
there?
gonna start skirting around.
There's a difference, guys. I mean,
I
that's
was like-
smart buck.
I will say this though, in the places that I was privileged to hunt, and I will not tell you where they were at. I could walk in them woods and on a daily basis see in the month of late October, November,
Mhm.
it was not uncommon to see 130, 140
Right.
inch deer running does around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you go down in the middle of South Georgia on a peanut field or in something.
You're gonna
You
see
may
a
get
30-inch
Well,
buck.
but you might see that same buck, but they're not confined.
Right.
yeah.
So they're running does in a 50-acre thing back and forth up Big Creek and stuff like
Right.
that, or the river. It's still hard to kill. Don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah.
still hard to kill, but it's the same thing with fish.
Right.
Tennessee River, you probably have a better chance of catching a trophy catfish out of the Tennessee River than you do the Etowah River down here.
Yes.
So you would essentially have to
Why?
set different type of rules. Okay,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's the rules. Yeah.
The rules.
I think it's the rules.
The limits.
Okay.
I think it's limits.
Go to Florida
I mean,
if you want small deer. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Look at Allatoona versus Lanier. Talking about fishing. Allatoona versus Lanier. Lanier has a 14-inch limit. Allatoona has a 12-inch limit.
I wonder if that would
you
help.
go
it.
there all the time and catch 11 and a half, 12-inch long
That's a
fish.
good point. I wonder if that would help Allatoona.
I think it would.
Probably.
I think it would increase its just
Yeah. I always
increase the
thought
size,
that
the number,
Altoona
the
won.
quality.
I'm sorry, I talked
Oh,
over you.
you're
I
good.
apologize.
No, you can't
Uh,
eat nobody. Talk
yeah,
about it. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, he's the
I'm
one that
just
gives you those junky lures, right?
I mean, it gave me a Whopper
Hey.
Plopper for my birthday.
Hey, that was a $13.
At least he
lure.
thought of you.
I do listen, and I appreciate it, and I love you very much. Thank you very much. But
Oh, that's what I'm here for.
there you go. Next year, let's go with other stuff. Anyway, all right. So,
Big
so,
whopper
so, what
blocker.
was you getting ready to say? So,
I don't know.
I don't know. We
forgot.
get talking. That's
Oh,
what. So we
sorry.
go off on tangent. What?
We still got the controversial bait to get
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying to
Well, we're
keep
saving
it
that to the
waiting.
last. You know,
It's just
guys.
like everything.
keep
I'm
them in
learning this
suspense.
about TV shows. You
Yeah.
don't get to see the best stuff till last, but we can go ahead. We've been an
You don't
hour.
play the Final Four at
Just
the first
like
of the,
Michael
of the
Jordan said.
Yes, sir.
tournament,
That's it.
right?
The big thing about deer is you have to be where big deer live. Same with fishing. You have to be where the fish are if you want to catch them. Good point.
Somewhat.
Absolutely.
Somewhat. When I
Sometimes.
started in Warren County, all you'd see was 4 to 6
Mhm.
pointers. Now we see them running around everywhere. Chasing
Yeah.
the does, pre-rut and stuff like. I can, when I start videoing and doing
Yeah.
my videos, it's going to be unreal at how many there are.
Yeah.
But why? Because we let them walk.
Let them walk.
We
Let them
let them walk. Let them go. Let them grow.
Mhm.
But my buddy Bob says
That's
that a
what
lot.
we were talking
That's
about
what
when we
I'm
forgot. We were talking
Yeah.
about you video and deer. There
And
you go. That's right. Okay.
you're gonna. It's unreal how if you don't pressure them, you try to hunt that wind. Wind is a huge thing in
it's
that.
a huge thing in
And-
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Even with the fish.
Don't go in there if the wind's wrong.
I know.
I
people-
learned that
Yes.
I learned that so well the last 3 months,
Don't-
3 years.
Don't
That's
waste your time.
amazing.
The wind's blowing
Right.
right where you know they're coming
those
from. Let go.
places,
Right.
those places that we got to hunt in suburban Atlanta, we could only hunt on an east wind.
Yeah.
Because if you hunted it on a west wind, and we'll get to that real quick, Daniel, here in just a second. I got it. But if you hunted it on any wind other than the east, you were not going to see deer. But if you hunted it in the east wind because there was a major interstate right next to us, and an east wind would blow your scent to the east,
Right.
right over the interstate, and you would see deer all day
Yeah.
long. Need to do a which one? You got a question out there? Which one do you want to go with?
Daniel,
Yes,
about the
that's
boats.
where I was going, right there.
That's a good question, Daniel. I right now am fishing out of a Carolina skiff center console. It works good, except it's a 17-foot. It's not wide enough for me. And the problem I have about that is the seating is too far back. The console and the seat is too far back. I love it because I can get my rods in the back. But tomorrow I am supposed to go pick up my new boat.
Here we go.
And I'm not going to reveal to everybody what that new boat is because I wanted to do a reveal on that.
Absolutely.
But it's a boat that it's like the walk-through windshield, but it's not actually walk-through. But it's up front, and I have like 5 foot behind there for when I get those big catfish. I can get them over in the boat, and I'm not at the back of the boat trying to get it in a 1.5 foot area
I
behind the center
understand. Got you
console
now.
seat.
Right. Yes.
So
Almost like a deep sea boat. You got to have some room
to be able to
handle
get
the
up.
fish.
You catch a 72-pound fish, and you're trying to get it in the back of a boat that's 6 foot wide with a 1.5 foot back there. It's frustrating.
Absolutely.
It is frustrating. So I'm getting a boat tomorrow, and like I said, I don't want to bring it on.
When do you think your reveal will be out?
I probably will make a special reveal on that. So probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay, guys, be looking for that on your trophy.
Yeah,
on Trophy Seeker Outdoors.
Because the thing about me is, what I catch today, if I went fishing tomorrow, what I will put out will probably be 6 weeks old. And there's a reason for that too.
Okay, all right.
Because in the catfish situation, if I can't find a spot where the catfish are, they're usually there for a week or two. So if I put that out on video, I'm going to find 15 boats in that spot.
Yes.
But if it comes out
amazing how that works.
Right. If it comes out a month later, I've probably fished all that and they've moved somewhere else.
Gotcha.
Guys, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Well, that's it too. And we do some videos and we have some guys doing reports and we tell them, especially the ones on the smaller lakes,
right?
The electric reservoirs, 300 acres. You can do a fishing report. Do not give a spot, because if you do that the next day or two, they're going to bump out. Jump on in here, Paul.
Well,
and let me do this too while Paul's coming in. Come here, Paul. I want to say the camera's not on you, but put the camera on this because I want everybody to see Paul. I got a little thing I got to do real quick, and then we're going to get to that secret bait. No, I'm not going to embarrass you. But here's Paul, everybody, and everybody knows Paul. That's a friend of the show. I want to say congratulations to Paul because he was the winner. Do not touch a button back there, Murph. I will shoot you. Yeah. We're going to be off.
You've been threatening this guy all night long. I want to see when the guns come out.
He's one of these young bucks around here, though. I want to congratulate Paul because he was the winner of the Fishing for Warriors kayak tournament on Lake Lanier this past weekend right there. Congratulations. And here's the thing about it. It was tough as hell on Lanier because the winds were blowing about 182 miles an hour. He was in a kayak, and it was like that for everybody in Georgia. But I know you got something to say about this, but I wanted to personally congratulate you for that and congratulate for everyone who bought raffle tickets, who did anything to help these guys, help us raise money for the Fishing for Warriors Foundation. We're going to reach that $20,000 goal. We are going to tattoo our logo on the backside of Justin's, derriere. Oh, he's got to get the fit. We get $20,000. Right. He's getting my tattoo on his butt. Oh, absolutely. And he's got a mullet, and we're going to shave his mullet. But for $20,000, that'll be worth it because it will help get these vets on the boats, get them out there and help them out. So, Paul, what you got going, buddy?
I wanted to ask you, how much do they roam around catfish? Is it
more now down on the river a good bit. Now I don't fish the lake very often. Down on the river, I think flow has a lot to do with it. Water temperature, stuff like that. So they may be in this deep hole this week, but be in a little more shallow. And also, just different times of year. Like I say, spawning has a lot to do with it.
Right.
But I've found, like I say, I've only been doing this 6 months. So I'm not the, know all of everything.
You're way ahead of a lot of us. So.
But what I say is be flexible.
Okay.
Be flexible. And look at what you're fishing. If you go fish a spot, you're starting to fish deep spots and you're not getting fish, go try something that's shallower. And that's the 20-minute rule that I have too. That works great because I'm not wasting an hour sitting up in this spot and not catching anything.
My God, I spent so much time waiting for that one piece of chicken to get dead. I've been doing it wrong my entire life.
Yeah. If you're sitting from the bank and it's the only place you got to go, that's one thing.
Yeah,
but if you're in a boat, guys, why did you buy a boat?
How often do you freshen your bait?
I don't know. That is
I freshen my. I look at it and I can tell if the red's on of it or whatever. But usually about it, and it's different summertime and wintertime. Wintertime, I leave it on just a little longer because it's it's colder water.
Right.
But it's really by look. But you don't want to leave. If you're not getting bites, you still don't want to leave that fish on all that. Myself and Bob went fishing last week. I had to wait on him to get there, so I threw some skipjack off of the dock, waiting on it. He was there about an hour late. He had to do some stuff. He wasn't
That's
late.
okay.
He had to do some
Well,
stuff.
you can say that's a nice way of saying, dude, you need to get there on time. All right.
So we go out and he baits up, and I just left the skipjack on. I throw. He catches
That's
2
my
fish.
baby.
He catches 2 fish, and I'm like, holy smokes,
Right.
And he's like, you want to reel one? No. I said, I know what it is. I said, I haven't changed this bait out. Changed the bait out. Next place we went, boom, I caught fish. And so
That's
fresh,
awesome.
fresh,
Unbelievable.
smell.
I love this because I'm serious because this is like
Right.
everything different. All right, guys, now listen. So we're an hour and 45 minutes. I told you to go quick, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I told you I could talk.
You can talk, and you're great. No, you're absolutely great. So we're getting ready to show you the most controversial bait in catfishing. But first, I want to ask 2 questions. Have you ever caught anything with Kool-Aid in it? You ever fish with Kool-Aid? I see all that garbage about soaking stuff in Kool-Aid.
This is the time.
This is the time? All right, so here we go.
Pulls
Again,
out a purple Kool-Aid packet.
You guessed it.
listen, seriously, guys. This is, I mean, you're going to go, really? Because when he showed me this upstairs, I was like, ain't no way in hell he's catching fish on this.
Chicken breast.
Chicken, not chicken livers.
Not chicken liver.
Hold it up
chicken
to the camera.
Breast.
These are these
regular
Tyson,
old
chicken
Tyson
breast.
chicken breasts.
And people fix it every way, and people down it. People love it. There is more
Even the
arguments over
catfish eat it.
chicken breast than any bait out there of you strawberry or jello, cherry, blue, grape.
Mhm.
I'm telling you what, you go Google Kool-Aid chicken or jello chicken, and then start looking at the comments. People go, oh, well, that's just.
That's what. Listen, I didn't want to cover my
Hey,
face, man. Everybody's
We
got.
did.
Listen,
It is the
look
most
out here.
controversial.
Yeah, what's better right there? Here we
And
go.
I'll just be honest. When I went up to Tennessee River my first time, I had no bait, and I had seen Joe freelining chicken, and that's what I did, and caught them left
Now,
and right.
okay, so listen. Just thawed chicken breast or frozen chicken
Yes.
breast.
Just
Stalled.
straight chicken
it
breast.
just stays on better than chicken liver. I don't know what it is about it, especially it's gear and catfish. Jimmy Spence Smith. I've seen him catch 60-pound catfish, 70-pound
chicken
catfish
breast.
on chicken breast. Little 1.5 by 1.5 chunks. Puts them out there, planer boards, just like he was going to go striper fishing and catch them on chicken.
Okay, so here's what I'd like. Listen, guys.
I'm gonna
Here's
go
what I would like.
chicken.
Let's ask this question real quick. What about dip baits and paste baits?
I would say if you're in a lake that just has small fish in it, that doesn't have a lot of big fish in it, and especially channel cats or stuff like that are really aggressive, to me, that's fine. But if you're chasing that big fish,
Hot dogs.
hot dogs are fine.
Yeah.
I just don't think, hey, there's people soak it in Kool-Aid and everything else.
That's what I was about to ask. Do you ever soak yours in Kool-Aid?
Yes,
or
I
anything
have.
like
Garlic. I
breast?
put garlic in it.
So
What is
just
it
like a
about
bass
garlic
with
that everything?
Yeah.
What is it about garlic?
They say it's the oil. I don't know.
I love garlic. I
Yeah.
love the way it smells. If I can
Yeah.
open up
You
a bag
look
of
like
worms,
a catfish.
if I
But-
open up a bag of worms,
But there's people like, I'm never going to fish with that, or I only fish for it if I'm going to catch eaters. But I'm telling you, I've seen people. Now, I will say I've never caught one, but I don't fish with it much. And it's not because I don't like it. It's just I get out and I catch this. But I take it with me sometimes.
You always have chicken breast with you.
Not always, but if like it's hard wintertime, guys, you don't know how hard it is catching bluegill and
Oh,
stuff
yes, I do.
in
Yes,
the
I do.
wintertime.
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my God, it's horrible. So I'll either take this or I'll go buy, large shiners.
Loy, and I don't know if that's Loy dog or LOY dog. I made the mistake in front of my family of saying LOL instead of LOL, laugh out loud. I got made fun of for being old and all that. So Loy dog, on our farm we use chicken livers, but you got to steal your mom's pantyhose to put them in. That was something we talked about right at the beginning.
Try
of
the
show.
chicken breast.
Try the chicken. Okay.
Now I will say here's another reason I don't like using it as much. Turtles love it too. So if you're sitting still and that soft shell turtle is going to come get it too, like on Lake Lanier and all, they will get it too. So you're going to catch the turtle, and once you start getting the turtles in there, you might as well pull up and leave because you're going to get a bunch of them. So
I tell you what I'm going to do. I will give a $30 gift certificate to our store to the first person who can video catching a catfish on chicken breast.
There you go. Guys, go out and try it. It
Go
works.
out and do just
I'm
because
going
I want
on
to
my
see.
way home.
But here's
Come
what you
borrow
got to do.
one of
No,
those
listen,
chicken
hold on a second.
breasts.
Hold on a second. Here's what you got to do. I got to see the video of you putting it on, throwing it out, and I mean it's got a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, don't catch a catfish and stick a piece of it
Yeah.
on the hook. I mean, be honest about it. Be honest about it, because
And it works, guys. Try it.
I thought the most. Oh, this is great, Jeremiah. I thought the most controversial catfish bait is my ex-girlfriend because she's a bottom feeder.
Oh my God.
Well, it is what it is right there.
I love some of these comments, man. You gotta love it.
Listen, the comments is what makes the show because I sit here and people say some funny stuff, but they ask great questions too.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I just
Jeremiah's gonna have a $30 gift certificate waiting on him.
Jeremiah will try that. Dang, Jeremiah will be done in the morning, but I want to see the entire video. So, what was your biggest cat caught on?
My biggest
Your
catfish,
biggest blue cat,
my biggest blue cat was on a bluegill.
live or cut?
Cut.
Okay, your biggest flathead,
Crappy head.
crappy head. Okay.
Could not catch any bluegill that morning.
Okay.
Caught some crappie, cut them up. Now there's some controversy about that too. Some people say fillet them off because if a game warden gets you, you need to be able to prove how long that was.
Right. Yeah.
I say take a picture of it on a 10-inch ruler.
Got you. Just to
You
make
know,
sure.
he's
Okay.
got to prove I caught it wrong as much as that, more than I've got to
Mhm.
prove that I didn't. But I feel like if you could say, okay, here's a picture of this
Yeah. Right.
here, this is,
Maybe he'll give you some grace.
I think they would
Right.
really. But
Maybe
that's
more
the only
bonus
thing that
bags.
people say. Well, don't get if you cut that head off, then how are you going to prove it's a 10-inch crappie? So crappy.
Crappy.
So
There you
I
go.
say crappy.
I
but
know.
I get corrected.
We
out
got these daggum Yankees and
Yeah.
people from Alabama that say crappie.
there.
But this white perch in Florida and
Yeah.
Socolay or whatever in Louisiana, we got some
So,
crappy guys.
But I
in here.
caught it on a crappie head.
Channel cat.
Channel cat, you can catch him on anything. You can catch him on a cricket.
Are they
Yeah.
just the dumbest catfish out
They're
there?
just the most. I don't say I think they're just the most aggressive.
Kind of like a spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't call. Yeah,
Are
like
channel
a spot.
catfish
They're
the
the spot
spotted
of a
bass?
channel cat.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
a
I think
spotted bass.
they're just
of
real
Well,
aggressive.
so what would you consider the flathead and the blue cat? If channel cat are the spotted bass of the catfish world, how would you classify the other two?
I
I think
would.
that's
I would
interesting,
call the flathead. As far as they're the pulliness, I would sort of like you guys catch striper.
Every once in a
I call
while.
them speed demons, but they are. They'll fight themselves
Yeah.
till they die because
Right,
Yeah,
they-
a 10
they're
pound
just-
hybrid or a 10-pound
yeah,
striper
or
will
just the
sit there
fight.
and fight.
That flathead is going. And this one I caught didn't. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's because it was middle of the winter and he was just real sluggish. And I figure I dropped that bait right on his head. is the
Got
reason.
you. You just hit him in the face.
But they will pull so hard,
Okay.
straight down, just pull. Where a blue cat is more of I would say he's type of a shark. If you ever caught a shark, how they just head shake, run hard, fight you in that current. A blue cat is more that way, and spinning and stuff. Where that, like I say, the other one is just the flathead is just a strong, hard pull.
Gotcha. Okay. Of all your catches, which one are you most proud of?
I would be more. That gave me the best fight was probably the 56-pound blue
Yeah.
fought way harder than the channel or the flathead,
Yeah.
but I think it was the wrong time of year. I
Okay.
think if I would have caught that flathead, I'm proud of that flathead because catching a 72-pound flathead to me is like catching a 100-pound blue
Okay. Yeah.
comparison. Because if you look at the record size, the record in Tennessee is 114-pound blue.
Okay.
So that's
What's the record
like-
flathead?
like
flathead
catching a 6-pound
is
slug.
Didn't you say it was like
80,
12 off?
84. I was
That's
12 off.
12 off. Okay.
So
yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So that was probably that's my most famed trophy. But I actually have had, because it was in more current, a 48-pound blue. It seems like when they get bigger, they don't quite fight as hard. And I don't know if it's because they can't move as much.
Hey.
But I've had 45-pound blues that fought actually harder than those. Just
Okay.
because I don't think they've got to that bulk size and they can still really go hard. To where those blues, when they get so big, I think they can't fight quite as hard, but they'll go down that current as hard. But after a while, they give up a little bit quicker than that 48-pound.
That's like one
If
of my
that
old
makes sense.
that's one of my old podcast questions when I would just have people one-on-one and I didn't
Yeah.
have the questions. I always wanted to know what was your most, the most proud
Right.
accomplishment. You got that. How about this? Carter's Lake tomorrow. I'm going to try to catch the biggest catfish in the lake. You giving me one bait? What am I fishing with?
Probably shad. If you can go up there and net some shad, because that's where the
Live?
bun up there. Yeah.
How am I rigging it?
Just through the nose or through the behind the fin, just like you was going to fish for a bass.
Same thing. You throwing it on that rig with that float, keeping it 2 feet off the bottom
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. And I and just be honest with you, I'd probably change up. I probably would not start out anchor fishing. I would probably drift fish.
Okay.
I would, and I don't know if you were here when I was talking about that. It's a different type anchor, and not anchor, but weight.
Right.
It's more of a long type deal. You still put these floats where it floats up, but you put on a sinker that won't get hung up so much. But you cover more ground with that.
Okay.
And you can find them. There's just not a whole lot of just like in this area. There's a couple of deep holes like up there going up towards the river and all.
Right.
But there's not that many. So I think hunting them that way would be a little easier like that. So I think if I go up there again, I've already talked to my buddy Ricky. I said, when we go up there again, I'm going to try dragging.
Okay. All right. Perfect. How about this question? So you're 6 weeks in basically into your video.
Yes.
You reached 100 subscribers.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in 1 year? Where do you want to be in 1 year?
My goal is to be 1,000. To have 1,000 guys out there. And as long as I'm being me and enjoying fishing and doing, I'm going to do a lot of funny videos also. My next video is called, let's see, what is the name of it? It's Accosted by a Bobcat. This is where me and Bob went out. I did the video where I caught the 72-pound and I felt like it deserved a video by itself.
Right.
Tomorrow, the video comes out for Trophy Secret Outdoors. Guys, watch this. This is a funny video.
Okay.
We had so much fun. Abducted by a Bobcat, I think is the name of it. I'm sorry. I have chemo brain, guys. I apologize.
That's all right. Yeah. I understand that.
Bobcat abduction. That's it. Bobcat abduction. It comes out tomorrow. It'll be out at 12 o'clock. If you'll go subscribe and hit the little bell, of course, it'll let you know. But if you just subscribe, you know it's going to come up. But it is a hilarious video.
Okay.
We had so much fun that day of screw ups, doing different things. And you think, okay, that was the perfect day catching a 72-pound catfish. Far from it.
And that's the way a lot of the times that's the way it goes.
Yes. This could be a blooper video. We did so many funny things in this video.
Okay.
And I want to do stuff like that. I want to do fun videos, but that's where I look at from year from now. People go in to see what Darrell is going to do next.
What Darrell's going to do next.
Yeah. What he's going to do next to make it fun catfishing.
There you go. And that's awesome. So, okay, guys, so we're right about the 2-hour mark. That's about normal for our show. So a couple things I want to say before we end the show. First of all, by far the most prepared guest.
Thank you.
Especially with the bait and the gear and everything. So I enjoyed that. If you weren't so scared, I'd make you eat a piece of that skipjack right there. But you got to go home to your wife. You ain't eating that?
No.
Are you scared?
Not unless you fry it up first.
Unless you fried it. What's fried skipjack taste like?
Just warmer than unfried.
Warmer than unfried. Okay, I got that.
Probably still wouldn't be good, but
hey, this is not Deadliest Catch. We are not eating the head off of a skipjack.
There you go. Absolutely. But I tell you what, I think a lot of people that took the time to watch this episode will say that they're pleasantly surprised because this is not, again, and this has happened several times. This is not what we thought we were going to talk about, how we were going to do with catfishing. So a lot more technique, a lot of similar things that the bass guys are doing. And so when it's when it's a good enough thing that I don't have to break out the song halfway through because I want to keep talking like that, that's a good episode. So I appreciate your preparedness.
Thank you for asking me to come on.
No, listen, it's awesome. I want you back.
People can really enjoy catfishing. It's a great sport.
Yeah, it is. And I think a lot of interesting things, slot limits, stuff like that, live bait versus
Right.
that, the chicken breast. Again, guys, first person sends me a video legitimately showing me you caught a catfish. Oh, I mean, I want to see the catfish coming out of the water with,
We'll
with
have to
chicken
table
breast.
down before the next show.
Yes, and I'm glad it's on that side as well, guys. So again, Daryl, thank you very much for
Thank
the
you
introduction in the catfishing for the Fish North Georgia family. Andrew, thanks for just coming up and being just part of it.
Yeah,
I'm glad
I learned a lot.
you did
And
learn
guys,
a lot.
Did learn a
So-
lot.
You guys got to
I'm
go
gonna
with me
try-
one time.
Yeah.
We need to go out and take you up
Oh, I'd
there.
love to.
go
Oh,
fishing.
yes, we'll do that, and we will
I'd
get
love to.
Josh's cameras on it.
Yes.
You ought to, because
Because I take cameras too, a video.
Yes.
GoPro is
Yeah.
a great deal. But yeah, you guys come on.
Oh,
The
I'd
boat I'm
love
getting will be camera
Okay.
friendly.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's awesome. So it's a
Yes.
date. We will set that up. Guys, I want to thank you again for tuning in. As loyal as you are, I can't say it enough. Thank you very much. For the people that are new here, I hope you subscribe, and I hope you come back on Thursday and other episodes. Again, click that bell. You'll be notified of all our content. We do a lot of other things like guide videos and stuff like that. But every Tuesday and Thursday night, we do this show called The Show at Fish North Georgia, where we talk about interesting people. Guys, listen, I just found Daryl. This is no lie. It's just straight up honest. I hit him on Facebook.
Yes.
I said, hey, I put out a feeler for catfish. He answered. So tonight I've met another human being that is intelligent about catfish, has taught us stuff, and it's just from reaching out to people and getting common people to do things
Right.
like the show. So it's awesome. Every one of you go to Trophy Seekers Outdoors. All the people. I don't care if you never even intend to watch it. Just go to his channel, give him a subscribe.
Help me out, guys.
Help him out. Watch the content though. Again, follow him on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And again, for everybody that's new here, go to the Fish North Georgia group page and the Fish North Georgia regular Facebook page and follow us there. Again, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Fish North Georgia. The Twitter is Fish North Georgia GA. And go to our, we got the online store, all that stuff at fishnorthgeorgia.com. And we're going to get some catfish stuff in there. I'm going to start carrying some octopus hooks and stuff like
Take
that. for the
kids fishing too, guys.
Take a kid
Yeah.
fishing. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. I can't say enough, man. I'm just absolutely, this has been one of the
Thank
better
you.
shows, and I just did not know honestly how it would go with
Correct.
catfishing, and I am very
Right.
tickled.
Right.
So I will sleep well tonight, guys. Thursday night, Fish North Georgia becomes Hunt North Georgia for a night. We're gonna talk turkey hunting. So if you're into that, show up. If you're not into that, just show up and listen to some of the great things that we're going to be doing. But again, go subscribe to Trophy Seeker Outdoors. We love you. God bless all of y'all. We'll see